Hello, everyone. How are you? Hope you are doing well. I'm having an amazing day and I have an amazing guest. I am so excited. Welcome. I am SYNOLVE and we are going to have an amazing show today. It's going to be so much fun. I have a guest that I truly have wanted this subject I have wanted to talk about for some time, and living off grid in Jamaica. And just living off, living off grid. I've been researching living off grid, period, but specifically living off grid in Jamaica. And so a friend, Kayla, how are you? Said you gotta check her out. And so I was like, okay. So I'm just, going over minding my own business, checking this channel out on TikTok, which is Maroon Goddess, and she is talking about nothing other than living off grid in Jamaica. Who would know? And so, thank you, Kayla. I'm going to leave Kayla's link below. So you can check out all the amazing things that she's doing. But so I just wanted to say thank you to her. But my guest today is none other than the Maroon Goddess. And so while you all are coming in, just come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I know it's Saturday. You guys, my supporters, we all, I know how you guys are. You all are amazing supporters, and you always watch the replays. You're big on the replays. So I am just excited. I'm just sharing a bit as some of you all who are coming in. I'm just sharing a bit with some amazing people, making sure that I get everything out to my email list and to everyone to let them know, remind them to come on in. Our amazing, amazing, amazing guest is here. So if you see me looking around, that's what we're doing. Well, what is going on with you guys Saturday? I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves and are having an amazing Saturday, and you are really just enjoying everything about today. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day, and I've got some amazing things planned for you, so I am excited. Yes, good morning, Milton. Thank you for being here. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So we're going to go ahead and get started and bring our amazing guest in, the Maroon Goddess, and we are just so excited and so blessed that she is here with us today. So blessed. If you are trying, thinking about, wondering if you can live the life of your dreams, and if you can leave the hustle and bustle and the rat race of the West, have I got a treat for you. I have someone who not only has done this in her own life and has done this as an experience, not something that she's just talking about going to do. This is something that she has experienced and has done in her own life. But also, Maroon Goddess offers coaching. So if this is something that you're really interested in doing and you think you really want to do, she offers coaching to help you strategize your next plan and your next move. And that's what we're really all about in this season. Really strategizing your next move, really strategizing where you're going to go, what you're going to do, and how you're going to make those dreams come true. Because a lot of times we have something that we want to do, but we don't have the plan. And so look no further. Today we have the plan. Today we have someone who's going to really share with us how to get from A to Z and how to get to where we want to go so that we can make our dreams come true. So I'm going to bring her in. Bring her in. Are you guys ready? Are you guys excited as I am? Well, I sure hope you are. I hope you are just as excited as I am. I hope you're sharing and telling everyone about our guest and about the amazing things that we're going to learn today. All right, so let's bring her in, none other than the Maroon Goddess. We're just happy that you are here. So drum roll, please. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome. I'm sequestered in my parents' bathroom right now. Thank you for
Oh,
having me.
oh, thank you. When I saw you, I knew that I absolutely had to have you on with me. And I know you are heading back to Jamaica. And so you were like, well, if we're gonna get this done, we need to get it done now. And I'm like, okay, let's let's
Absolutely.
get this, yeah, let's get this done. So thank you. This is hubby, and I'm glad hubby's here because I hope hubby is taking notes because I have told him all about you. I have sent him every post. I know he was like, okay, once you sent me one post and said, check her out. I can do that from there. But no, I sent him, I
That's such
sent
a
him,
blessing. Thank you.
and everyone who I know wants to go to Jamaica or who I know wants to even just live off grid. I was like, look, I was sharing. I was like, you got to check her out because
Yeah, I know
she,
that going overseas isn't like ideal for most people, and that's fine. My objective isn't to say come to Jamaica. It's not for everyone, right? But I think like whatever I do, it can be replicated in other places. And if you do it in America, it's actually a lot easier. You know, it's a lot cheaper. There are ways to get free land. Like there's so many other options that are here for you. So it doesn't necessarily have to be someplace abroad. But I know a lot of people think, like go to someplace tropical that's like, cool. But it has its pros and cons when you are definitely international.
mm-hmm,
Like now, like my family had a crisis. We had a couple of COVID deaths here, and I had to leave and come back, And so if it's a time when you can't travel and there's restrictions, that's limiting, right? Versus
right,
if you're in the States, you could jump on a plane or on a train or whatever. But luckily, none of that happened. But those are different considerations to definitely take out before you make this decision. And yeah, there are many options to it. It can look any way you want it to. That's the one thing I learned is like stop putting restrictions on your dreams. Like what God can dream for you is way bigger than you could even think, much as dream for yourself.
mm-hmm.
So just be open.
Be open is the most important thing. Be open. I love that, and I just love the whole spirit and energy of your that well of you, and just talking into you, and then seeing all of your posts that you're on TikTok. Look, I want to be like my great grandma, TikTok, but yeah, TikTok. I love just
That
your
was cute
energy.
though.
Well, let me do my formal introduction because this this amazing coach and leader is a visionary, and this if you don't know, she is the Maroon Goddess. She is at Sovereign Off Grid on TikTok. She and her family relocated from the US to Jamaica to live off grid, and she is an off grid living coach. Her mission and business are to help you gain the tools in preparedness and self sustainability for a greener, simpler future. And so, join me. I'm glad you're here for this amazing conversation, but I want you to meet the woman behind Maroon Bubble. Janine was born and raised in Kingston, Jamaica. Oh, I love it. It's a city of endless summers where culture and rhythms pulse and saturate in the air. For over a decade now, Janine has lived and worked in New York City. The duo of Kingston and NYC have helped her to develop a keen eye for fashion, as you can see, design, and a love for wellness and travel, which pushed her to launch Maroon Bubble Eco Retreat and Spa in 2022. And so here we are. This is all fresh and new, combined with the desire to highlight the lush and extraordinarily beautiful mountains of Jamaica, indigenous Afro-Caribbean culture and traditions. All right. Okay. So some of y'all are thinking about dancing. Maybe we'll, but that's not
That's included.
exactly. That's included. Okay. Uh, finger licking organically farmed foods, which I've been watching on TikTok, by the way, and transformative retreats. Janine wishes to introduce to the diaspora a new way to vacate, the Echo Way. Maroon Goddess is also offering special one on one coaching opportunities for everyone who's interested in going off grid, whether you are here in the US or you are in Australia, no matter where you are throughout the African diaspora. If you want to go off grid, you need to get a 1 hour session, a 60-minute session with her so that you can prep your goals, prepare your goals to live 100% self sufficiency off grid. All right. I think we got it. We got all the formalities down. She is absolutely amazing. And I'm glad you all are coming in. Thank you, Blind Guy and his wife and their life. Thank you for hopping on in. Thank you, everyone who's watching, because I know how y'all are. Y'all like to watch in the background and be low key, and then and then you love to hit the replay. So thank you, thank you. One of the things we that you touched on and highlighted on was that we set ourselves up for this idea that somehow we can't live our dream, when that's totally not the case. It took you 7 years, if I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong, to make this plan. So when you're coaching and you're working with people, you're helping them not only to get a fast plan if you want to do it this month or tomorrow or next week, but you also have a long-term strategy for people. Talk a little bit about that, about planning, helping people to plan, go to go off grid. Some of the
The
things they
first
need to do.
thing I would love to say is I wish like I were this brave and it was all me, but I must tell you, this is led by my ancestors. Like it has to be. None of this that's happening I could have done alone. So that's the first thing, was really tapping in and just following the assignment. Like I was given specific instructions, and for the longest I didn't follow. And I realized as I'm meeting with people, they also have that intuitive knowing, but they ignore it because of fear or because of what people think, whatever the reasons are that we create for ourselves. So I had to get out of my own way. But as far as just like preparing, it actually took longer than 7 years. This
Oh,
was
wow.
literally an idea I had since I was 17 years old. And every time I look around when I'm on the property, I'm like, I could have so done this earlier. Like this big monster that I created was all in my head. So I made my beliefs like fact rather than being willing to jump into something and having it work out and just
Mhm.
trusting. Like if I did my homework, if I prepared, if I did my research, I saved my money. Like if you are able to survive in America for as long as we have, you have the skills to survive off grid. And trust that intuitive ancestral knowledge. Like what I'm doing, it sounds like a novelty now because we're in the first world, right? But it's really not a novelty. 90% of the globe lives this way, right? We're just doing it, like, I guess, in a more, and that's the other thing too. People try to bring their old life off grid, and that's not what it's about. It's really about after you get everything prepared and you have your food supply for 2 to 3 months, and you have your power supply, you have some space to live, then the real work begins, which is that inner work. You can't tell me nothing. Off grid is about inner work. It is about facing all the things you ran away from, because in the real world, you're never really allowed or get the chance to just sit and just be. And like the concept of time, it doesn't exist there. So when you have nothing but time, and you're in nature and you're watching like how the birds interact, and you're realizing that you're moving with the sun, you're awake when the sun is awake, and you have to stop working when the sun's down because it's dark as hell. So then you force yourself, rather than trying to overwork or just be out of balance, like everything becomes balance. And when everything else outside becomes balanced, inside also seeks balance too. And I think that's nature's way of like getting to you. There are times I wake up at 1 or 3 a.m. in the morning and I'm just weeping. And I'm like, why am I crying? And it's because I'm weeping for my old self. I'm weeping for all the things that I thought I couldn't do. I'm weeping for the memories that I thought I'd suppressed. And here I am healing. It's just like the most transformative thing ever. And I think when people mention off grid, they rarely mention that it's really about going off grid within. Like it's not about external circumstances. And I don't think we talk about that enough. And maybe it's because like you don't get to really talk to people who are off grid, because technically I realize my job is to be in and out of both worlds. I never planned on being a messenger of this lifestyle. This was my way of just getting away from the madness. They were trying to label my daughter as ADHD in her school. I got sick of meeting with teachers and principals, and they would try to gang around me and try to tell me something was wrong with my daughter, and I knew nothing was wrong with her. I knew that. She just learned differently, but she didn't conform. And I was that type of child, so I understood, and I was going to defend my child. And I was like, well, there has to be a better way. And I'm like, well, if there isn't a better way, I'm going to create that way. I didn't know what it was going to look like. I just knew I need to get her out of the system. My youngest, he's never been in the school system at all. And the way we teach or the way we learn, we do a process called unschooling. So that's not necessarily homeschooling, which now, thank God, because of COVID, homeschooling has become the norm now. Because when I was saying this before, I sounded like a freak, a hippie or whatever, but we are just going back to the ways that we used to learn. So homeschooling is like self-directed education. So the kids get to choose the subject for the day. The other day, someone hurt themselves on the property, and my 9-year-old fixed his finger. Like he was trying to catch a coconut. Einstein, this guy, catching a falling coconut, it flings his finger back. And then she's like, get the water, get some water on the stove. And she dipped the finger, and then she did a splint, I guess, and then wrapped it. I didn't know she knew how to do that at 9 years old. But now, because I let her be and I don't get in her way, I just give her books. She's the kid that couldn't sit down according to them. She's under the tree for hours on her swing, just reading. And I didn't realize her reading was going to end up saving somebody's finger. So those simple things, like not putting restrictions on their learning because of my own fear, or because like I didn't know their own capabilities. So I also had to apply that to myself. If they're showing up so amazingly, like what am I capable of doing? And then so I wasn't giving myself enough credit. That's another thing. My negative self-talk was really, really bad. Like, and I didn't notice it until there was so much silence. And I'd be like, yo, you're an abuser. Like, why are you so mean to you? Like, show yourself some love, some grace. And I'd never thought about doing that before. So
And that's
I'm grateful
important.
for, sorry?
That's so important, because I had to learn it at 50. I then it's like, oh, how have you been talking to yourself? Well, no wonder you're grumpy. No wonder you are, just on edge or have a lot of anxiety. We don't even realize how much anxiety we have because we're always in a rush, on the go. It's a move, it's a hustle, it's a bustle.
And it's
And
designed that way. And you only notice that when you're still, you're like, but wait a minute. Even during COVID, because I was so afraid in the beginning, right? I left for Jamaica in January and I came back. And then we got stuck here in New York. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in the bathroom, guys. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm stuck here. What am I gonna do? So for 3 months, luckily I had, because I bought like 3 years worth of food. I had like 12 barrels in the house. So the kids and I didn't leave the apartment for 3 months. We just lived out of the barrel. So inadvertently, we were kind of preparing to live off grid, not being around people, learning to use the resources. We started using less electricity, like we were doing stuff in the dark. And then it built up enough courage within me, but I really didn't need to do that. I should just followed my instincts in the first place and did what I was supposed to do. But sometimes we doubt ourselves. We feel like we're an imposter. Listen, the brain don't know, other people don't know, fake it. This is why I like TikTok, right? Here are all these young people on here making millions of dollars, talking about their experts. And like, I have to believe now that you're an expert, because I've learned so much from people that just because of confidence. And then I was like,
Right.
I didn't realize that I wasn't confident, because for so long I was like, you can't do this. People are going to believe. Who cares? Just go for it. Even if it doesn't work out, that's the one thing I told myself. You can always come back home. Like, it's here. Where's it going to go? You can come right back to your old life. But whether it be off-grid or not, whatever you choose, just try it. Just go for it. Be willing to jump in it and have it work out. When I went to Jamaica, nothing worked the way it was supposed to. I wasn't supposed to be off-grid. This space where I am was supposed to be my place that I fall back on, right? And it was supposed to be my production space and where I made my candles. That was where I was going to make my money. That's where the farm was. And when Maroon Bubble fell through, because my business manager stole my money, everybody on TikTok is like, oh, it's the Jamaicans that's going to rob you. It wasn't a Jamaican that robbed me. It was an Englishman. So like, that's another thing. But him doing that was the divine order, because it brought me here. And then when I was there and I was living, everybody was like, yo, we want to see this. This is dope. And I was like, no, I was ashamed. Because here I am, I have no electricity. I have no running water. We got to bathe in the river. Just listen to that. What the hell is wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. There's a whole pandemic out here. You're living in a food forest, so you'll never go hungry. You have your own spring. You never have to pay. I didn't have to pay a bill, but yet I was ashamed. And I was like, wait a minute. This narrative, something wrong with what you're thinking here. This is kind of dope. And the kids would look at me and like, Mom, this is dope. Like they would be more excited. And I'll be like, no, you deserve more. And they're like, we're good. Judah was happy. He was there. Like, he's in charge of all the fires on the property. So, because the fires keep the mosquitoes away. So he gets to let out his inner pyro in a healthy way. Whereas if he were here, I'd be like, don't touch that. It's going to burn you. He has cutlasses. He's chopping stuff. He has an axe. He's 7. And like, he's okay. Right. But I would have never been able to do any of that had I not taken the chance on myself.
And I love that, because our son is studying his PhD. He's getting his PhD now. And he has his undergrad. He's doing a dual PhD and master's, but his undergrad is in physics. Okay, this is the baby. You want to defy all the laws of gravity and physics. This is the baby as a baby, not as a toddler. I mean, as a baby that would climb up our fireplace and sit on the. And he's hanging and sitting on the ledge.
Freaking out, right?
It's like, well, where were you? And I used to think I'm the worst mommy in the world. Like, where? You just go, like, I'm gonna go get you a popsicle, or I'm gonna, come with mommy to go get to the, refrigerator. I'm thinking he's, still sitting in his swing or still sitting in his baby chair. This boy has unstrapped himself. Now, he would take all of the, Evan would take all of the printers. Once he became a toddler, no phone. He would take the phones apart. And you could say, Evan, put it back. At 2 and 3, you could say, put it back together. You took it apart, put it back together. He'd sit there, he put it back together.
Wow.
He'd take apart phones, he'd take apart printers, he'd take apart computers. You never know as a parent. I was a stay-at-home mom, so you never know as a parent what the children are going to be. My daughter, on the other hand, would sit with all the dolls. She was the only person that could get our son, Evan. Alexandria was the only person that could get our son, Evan, to sit down. She would sit with all the dolls, all the bears, everything, trucks, cars, and Evan, and she would teach. Now, what she was teaching, we never knew. She works with children now. She taught, and then she and then now she works with children who really struggle for whatever reason, whether it's mental or it's they're having issues, home life, and so she works at a center, a facility. And she's absolutely amazing.
That's similar to what unschooling is you find where your children's strengths are and you reinforce it. So for Judah, we called him the puzzle master. At 3 years old, he was putting all these puzzles together. Now off grid, he'll sit there. And sometimes I can't do these puzzles. I can't do it. Sometimes I just have to sit there and I'm trying to help and I feel so stupid. And he has his process. So it's interesting to watch him, 1,000 pieces. He could do it in one day, but and that's another thing I learned from him. What you rushing for? Take your time. It's going to be okay. Like, I've learned so much through him. And it's because let's allow him to be, like, have self autonomy, have his own independence. I know it's unorthodox for Black families, but I don't set bedtimes for them. I don't give them food to eat. When they're hungry, they'll tell me. Us, like, force feeding and like, now is the time, like, because we think that's what structure is. No, is it really structure, or are you preparing your children to be followers and to be led by someone rather than they can self-automate and be like, these are the things I need. I know what I need at this point. And we can trust them because as far as I see, it's working out so far. And it's
It will work.
unorthodox, and there's a lot of guilt attached to it because I'm unlearning as well, right? Because I've been in the system forever. So this is like me decolonizing my own mind and my own process. I went all the way through college too. This is what it was supposed to look like. Stay on target, or don't fall behind. Fall behind what exactly? What? So I had to all
Mhm.
those things I had to reconsider what I'd learned all my life and just like seriously reprogram my thinking. And I think that's what that I appreciate most about being off grid was that time to self. It started in COVID in New York, but it's amplified when you're in nature. Like something, we know that scientifically the serotonin is released more, you have less stress, you have more
Absolutely.
oxygen to the brain, so you think more. I can, like, here, I have mommy brain. I can't remember nothing. There, I didn't have a pen or a book, so I was forced to remember, like when I would have, because you get ideas all the time. So I get these amazing ideas, and I'm like, okay, I have to remember that. And I would create techniques. But I gave myself that chance, or I took it rather, because in this world, it's designed for you not to think. Once you start thinking, you're going to make a plan of exit because you're going to realize this really is going nowhere for you. Nowhere good, at least. You're replaceable here. When there, you're invaluable, and you start realizing how much you know. It's when you rely and trust on not only yourself, but that inner
And the
guidance.
guidance.
It heightens, like you hear God more. Like sometimes I can tell you a story with this one owl. Oh my God. You hear the animals now. Like all of a sudden now I speak bird and lizard. Like they're speaking regular bird stuff, but you hear them now. It's just like we were cutting down this one tree and I didn't know two owls lived in the tree. So the guy came down and said, that two owls live up here. And I said, really? I said, all right, don't cut up the top. Can you cut the bottom limbs? So this is daytime. This is their sleeping time. So literally the owl came down, like tilt his head like this, and he just said some owl stuff, but I heard him in English. He was like, what the blood clots? You don't see me sleeping. You cannot tell me that bird didn't curse at me one and tell me to move off. He's sleeping. And I got it completely clear as day. So it's just
Milton.
like something else opens up within you. The same with the
Milton.
lizards.
No, I know Milton is laughing because I walk around all the time and I say, "What the block clock?" It's like,
You know, do the
what?
another Kim. What the blood? Like the wow, just
Okay,
like was like what the blood clot. See me not sleep.
right.
And I was like, okay, Mr. Owl, I'm sorry. My bad. My bad. And I heard him clearly. And he didn't speak English, but I heard bird. And I was like, did I just understand the owl? And I was like, and then that's the other thing. So I stopped questioning stuff. I was just like, yeah, you did hear the owl. Like,
You
and I
did.
learned. I was terrified of spiders and lizards. I learned if it's running from you, it's afraid of you. So most
Right.
things run away from you. They're afraid of us. So, like, what is there to be afraid of? Yeah.
This is so beautiful because, excuse me, I have been well, I grew up in Mississippi, so living off grid. My great grandmother Pearl, which now that I have no hair, and I do, first of all, let me just send my love and just support and hugs to you because I know what it's like to have family members that go through COVID. I'm recovering
Thank you.
myself. And I really feel like hubby and I are just getting over Omicron. For the last week, I didn't really take a lot. For the last 2 weeks, you guys kind of heard me, but we both had the Delta variant, and it was, of course, I've talked about this on my channel, but one of the things, I lost my hair.
Because of it?
About 20% of people lose their hair. So
what?
I refuse. I just still have not changed my pictures over. I know when people come on, they're like, well, this is new.
I'm never shocked with Black women. I am just like, she is into her other self. So introduce yourself to the new you. That's okay.
That's okay. So I lost my hair. So sitting here and
I never knew that.
Yeah, it would just come. It would just fall out, or I'd lay in the bed and my hair would be. I'd get up and my hair would be on the pillow. It takes about 3 months for the hair loss to start. So we both had the Delta in September, and so December was right on par. December, January, there were 3 to 4 months for the hair loss to begin. Hubby didn't lose any hair. He's growing. His beard came out.
Of course, everything happened to us.
Right. Everything. So I do, I do understand, but I love this journey. One of the things, even when when I've been sick, I say, there was one of those downtimes. I say spirit is moving, spirit is working, because it was during this downtime that I found you, when Kaya and I were writing back and forth on Instagram and TikTok, and she was like, "Oh, you got to check her, you got to check her out." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I'm just trying to get all sniffles and trying to just relax my mind and drink my herbal teas and do all my herbal remedies, all that, drinking juice and orange, for vitamin C, orange juice, and taking my vitamin D, all that, because I'm in the West. I'm not in Jamaica where I can get the good sun. And I feel like everything that happens for a reason. It's unfolding as it should. And so when you were talking about, you weren't necessarily, someone literally stole your money, an Englishman, and you ended up having to go off grid. You ended up having to grow. I hear you, spirit.
I could have gone to a hotel, but I was like, I'm not leaving here. This is my home. So the money I have, I must make. And I was like, I'm better off than most. At least I have a cabin. Like, it's not finished, but we can go finish it. It's not a big deal. It's an adventure. I would ball. I felt like such a loser. And then I just was like, I'm just going to relinquish this. Like, what am I holding on to? This is kind of a dope experience. What's wrong with you? And then the moment I did that, people started showing up. Like, that's one thing. Black men showed up for me, honey, in this COVID. Let me tell you, they built the cabin for me for free. They brought 650-gallon water jugs up hills, down hills, across a river, drove stuff. They bought, they filled the tanks, they showed up for me like nothing and didn't expect anything in return. Just so, when I first got on TikTok in December, I maybe had 200 people. Since now I have like 13,000, right? When the people came, a lot of the negativity started coming, right? So that was jarring to me at first, because I'm like, I don't really see me doing anything negative here, but they would start projecting their own fears about what they thought was going to happen to me. And I'm just like, if only they knew that these people I never met anywhere. Jamaican men get a bad rap. I don't have nothing negative to say about no Jamaican man again. You understand me? And then I realized I had to also look within myself, because I thought this had to look like this way and that way. And the moment I released it, God just made it happen in all kinds of ways. So at least 7 different men showed up for me. When I had those 12 barrels, like, to get to me, you have to go up a hill. Then you have to drive about 2 miles off road. Then you have to hike about a half an hour to get to the cabin.
Wow.
Okay. They carried 12 huge barrels, unloaded them and bought stuff, huge bags, one by one. And I would be like, how much do I owe you? Like, because that's my way, right? That's what I'm thinking. Nobody's going to do anything for me. They would just keep walking. And then I said to my helper, I was like, why do they keep walking away? And he'd be like, you're good, man. You're good. And one of them actually said to me, God told me that whatever you want, I must give it to you. So God was having his whole conversations with the strangers that I had never met that showed up for me, because I got out the damn way and stopped trying to control everything. And trusted and I was open, even this situation, right? So my new thing for 2022 is if it's a responsible request, I'm saying yes. I'm saying yes because I don't know where it's going to take me. And also, I'm learning through saying yes that I have issues with receiving. I never realized that. So I was blocking my own blessing when people was trying to give me stuff before. Like, so all these things are unraveling. And why? Because I took that one chance with myself doing that. And now it's changing the whole course of the way I'm behaving, how I'm showing up for people, and how I'm showing up for myself. More importantly, I've learned so much more about myself. And so
Say
now
yes.
nothing is a coincidence to me.
Nothing is
I
a
just know it's
coincidence.
divinely planned.
Right. Say yes. I call it walk through the open door. So we always concentrate on focus on those closed doors. But if you walk through the doors that are open, right? If you sit at the tables where you're being invited and stop worrying about the tables.
Invite yourself. It's not even about
Look,
it. Invite
make your
yourself.
own
Say, you know what?
table.
I'd like to sit at this table.
Make your own table.
Or make your own table. But sometimes you can just be like, I'm making a request to sit at this table. Is it a, you know, or sometimes just take the chair and sit down and just be like, hi, I'm here.
Right, I'm here. I showed up for today. And spirit sees that. I love this. And
Momentum builds on momentum.
momentum. It does.
Sitting
And
there praying for it, praying for it. It's a verb. It's an action.
it is. Prayer is a walk. It's a movement.
Right.
It's an action. It
You made the
really
request
is.
with the prayer, but then you do things so that you can align to the things that you asked for. Because the way I started realizing was, if Einstein is right and there are multiple, like he's right, he proved it scientifically, there are multiple dimensions. There's another me living off grid already and living her best life. So I would, in the mornings when I was in my apartment in New York City, I'd be like, oh man, I would get up and it would be people yelling and the fire hydrant and the fire truck drive, you know, New York City, noisy. And I'd be like, oh wow, listen to the birds. Like I would make the fire truck the bird. I'm like, that bird sounds amazing. Look at the sunrise. And I'm going to like the bodega and I'm like, this is how I'm going to pick the food off my, so I'll be getting fruits. I'll be like, this is how I'm going to pick the fruits off my tree. I didn't know I was going to do that. I was just creating that, imagining what it would feel like, because in my head, I already had that life. So I'm like, I'm going to bring her closer to me. If she's my shadow, I'm going to get her a little bit closer to me and align with her. We literally do that now. Like, we hungry. Sometimes for my breakfast, I eat 30 mangoes. Instead of doing a smoothie, that's my smoothie. I just eat 30 mangoes because I can, when I wake up, there are 40 of them on the ground. There's 10 avocados. You're sitting down and you're like, man, I could eat something. Then boom, an avocado falls. And you're like, okay, I guess we're making guacamole. Okay. Like, that's what's happening. We drink coconut every day. And I knew, like, eventually, as I was doing it, it wasn't as silly anymore. It felt silly at first, and then I started believing it. So now I really know that I can manifest. I don't know how any of this happened. People ask me, oh, listen, I didn't work for 2 years. COVID happened. I haven't worked. How am I still surviving? I don't know, because I don't worry about the how. I just keep with my plans. We're doing things. This is what we're doing, because I had already done the work, right? So Oprah says, luck is when opportunity and preparation meet. So the preparation was when I was working all those hours, packing up. I would go to Salvation Army. I would go to Goodwill. I would go to estate sales. When it was Black Friday, I wasn't buying no clothes and shoes. I was buying tools, because I just knew I was going to build a homestead and I was going to need the tools. So, okay, this tool is $29. It's usually $150. Okay, I don't even know what these tools do. I just be like, okay, I watch YouTube, and the guy will be like, this is the tool I'm using. You know how they'll have the list? And I'll go through the list and write it down, and I would look and start looking for the tool. Sometimes I would find them at yard sales, and because I was doing it, people started bringing stuff to me. And so look, when I was done, I had like 20 barrels of stuff, and I was ready, and that's what I'm living off now.
I understand. We wanted to do farming when we've downsized again now into an apartment, but we wanted to do farming when we were in the suburbs. And so, and we were in the town my husband lived in, and I kid you not, I got a wheel. I would say, oh, I want a wheelbarrow. I'll drive in my little truck, going just to Walmart, just a regular place. Wheelbarrow sitting on the side of the road. I mean, it would be just like that. I would say what I wanted or what I needed. I could even say furniture. I said, I don't know if you can see this behind me, but there's a gold, and some you can't see, but there's a gold jewelry box right there. There it is. I said, oh, I want a jewelry box. Jewelry box sitting on the side of the road. I promise you. I kid you not. I painted it gold. I mean, it just, I mean, we don't realize, and we talk about that on this channel too, African spirituality, but this spirituality from within, this spirituality that is a connection to the ancestors, which is not even a separate thing, because we've been taught in the West somehow religion or spiritual is something separate away from. It's all from within, and we don't even realize, we haven't even tapped into yet even a part of the power that we have from visualization, which really is turns into self actualization. It, you know, I'm using all these words, but in reality, it's just living. It's just being who you are, and I love that you have figured this out, because it's like a walk. It's like a living prayer. You're walking through this. It's not something that you like, oh, well, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna today. I'm gonna. It's
and then
something.
for the things I don't know, the process highlights to me, this is what you need to go learn.
Yeah.
And I go do that. Like it told me, go do the I don't want to say they, but like first this thing started with a vision. I told you, it came to me, one of my ancestors came to me in a dream, and she told me at the time we were going through a divorce, she said, I'll help you with this divorce, but you're gonna have to go home. And I was like, sure, okay, I'll do it. I became Perry Mason or whatever big lawyer and won my case. I don't know how. My husband had a $450 hour lawyer, and I beat her so bad. I never spent a day in law school. I would never go to law school after that experience, but I beat her. And I beat her to the point where I got like access to be able to take my kids out of the country, which is usually like $100,000 case that usually have to do afterwards. I negotiated that. I knew to do that. I didn't have these skills, so I knew it wasn't me. And I still deviated from my part of the bargain. I was like traveling, going to Ghana, and I almost died, right? Not listening. And one day I was just in Manhattan after I gotten injured from like my last trip, and somebody just came by. They don't know what you're waiting on, while you're still in the land of concrete. And the woman just kept walking. So now they were just sending randoms to me to be like, you said you was gonna do this. So then I started to do my own shadow work and inner work. And I went to this program called Momentum. And the first day, this lady came up to me and she was like, do you understand how powerful you are? And they want to know what you're waiting on. And I'm like, who is this lady? What the hell? I just got here. What is this lady's problem? The lunchtime now, she comes to me and she's like, oh, they want to know why you're not in the jungle. Because I had bought the land at this point, and that's what I called it. I called it the jungle. And then I just looked at her and I told her everything that happened. And she was like, listen, you need to go, because the next time you're gonna die. Like, you made a pact, you need to go fulfill it, and everything is gonna work out. You're gonna be fine. I still didn't listen to her. I waited 1 year and 2 months after that, still, because I was still afraid. They showed me COVID before it happened. I was still afraid. I was just afraid. And then I saw this thing from Mike Tyson. And what he said was, every fight that he had, he was afraid. But what he did was he pushed through the fear, because he realized that courage was on the other side of fear. Ooh. And he was like, even when I was in the ring, I'd be afraid, but then I pushed through it. And so I was like, okay, he the best fighter in the world, and like he was afraid, and you could have never told that. Like, you would have never known that looking at him. And that's when I realized you can trick yourself, you can trick your brain, you can trick the world, and the world will respond to what it is you need. Get out of your own way. And matter of fact, the fear is an indicator that that's something you should be doing. If it's not dangerous and if it's responsible, it's an indicator like you're on the right path. Because when you're making changes in your life, it's not comfortable. If you were comfortable, you wouldn't be doing anything. You would just be continuing your life doing what you were doing before. But the moment you start making a change, it's gonna be like, whoa, 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 whoa. We liked how it was. Well, you don't like how it was because you're not living up to your full potential. You're not using the God-given talent. You're not sharing. You're not being of service to the world. That's why we're here. Find out if that's ain't why you're here. Find out why you're here, because you're here for a reason. It's not just to work and die.
No, it's something more to it than that. And I saw COVID before it happened, but I didn't know what to call it. And I think the ancestors have been calling it, they've been calling it so many things throughout the history because they've seen the death of the earth so many times, and the earth being reborn and people being caught up somehow in Revelations. I mean, we've heard these things over and over again, but I kept saying that spirit is calling his own, her own true people back to her, back to the earth. And I kept talking about being called back to the earth. And it's this purpose to really nurture and take care of the earth in a different way from the way that it has been destroyed before. And so we are being called as caretakers, where it's not a necessarily a call to leave anyone behind, but it's more so a call to come and protect nature, and a call away from the way that we have been living, because we have been living to literally kill ourselves and our children, poisoning our lakes, poisoning our rivers, killing the fish, killing the
we can't use the excuse at this point that we don't know.
No,
because the information is readily available to us, and there are many people saying it. Stop, like that lady, complete stranger walking by. I could have dismissed her, but I realized like something greater was happening to me, and I was like, okay, now they're sending messages. I would see all kinds of messages and ignore them before. Now, then it turned into strangers saying stuff, and then keep walking, or I'll hear parts of conversation that I knew was directed just for me, even though the conversation had nothing to do with me. But when you start being in tune and in line, like it shows up. And that was when I realized, okay, well, if they're doing all of that, then maybe I should just let me just try and see. And I had and that's the other thing. Get out of your ego. You ain't in control of nothing. You're being led. Like the people that be like, oh, I be working with the ancestors. You can't work with nobody. They're working with you, and they're leading you.
Right.
And your job is to follow instructions. Okay? Follow the assignment. That's it.
And stick to it. Stick to get the assignment. First of all, find the assignment, get the assignment if you can listen and connect to the assignment, because we do a poor job of listening in the West. We do we're poor listeners. We're taught to be followers and listen to someone else, but we're not taught to follow and listen from within. And that really it's
give me a second, please.
Absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy that we're not taught to follow and live from within. We live from the outside out. We live for the earrings and the clothes and the jewelry and the hair and the shoes and the purse and the house and the car. But we at the same time are bankrupt on the inside. We're literally.
Let me tell you, one of the things that I did to make this, because there were sacrifices involved. I don't want anyone to think that they're not going to be sacrifices. I, for 4 years, had a flip phone. Now I'm a metropolitan girl in New York City. I work on Wall Street, and I have a flip phone. Why did I have a flip phone? Because I was saving my pennies. My phone cost $15 a month. Okay, before I had the other Verizon, and it was almost $125 a month. So I was using that money, and every money that I saved from that, I stopped going out to eat. I stopped buying clothes. I started doing my own hair. If I did my hair, get it done, I would get braids. So that means I would have to do my hair every 3 months versus once a week, right? I even at one point cut off my hair and started going to the barber schools where they charge $2 to cut my hair. $2. And I would save my money because I had a goal, and I didn't know how much I needed, but I just started trusting myself. And the more I started to save is the more I got excited. I was like, okay, so if I could save $10,000 this year, that means if I were to cut out some more stuff, I could have $12,000 next. And I just kept doing that. And next thing you know, when the property showed up, I had money to buy the property and I could buy it cash. I didn't have to take out no loans or nothing. And it's all from simple. Well, it wasn't simple for me at the time. It was very difficult to not have an iPhone after having, at that point, I had 13 iPhones up to that. I was losing them. They was dropping in water in the toilet. I was leaving them in cabs, all kinds of irresponsible first world foolishness. All of that didn't matter. When I had this dream I told you in my head since I was 17. When I went to see Dr. Sabi, I knew I wanted to do this. I was like, I'm just going to do it different than Dr. Sabi. I was like, he's the reason why he even changed the course of my life to make me start doing massage versus like the other work I was doing. So I knew stuff was aligning. And so I was going to just like try to push it along as best as I could. And then now I have an iPhone 13, but I waited those 5 years because I knew I was going to need the phone. That was how I was going to document my thing. And I didn't do it for social media. I was doing it for myself so I could leave for my children later on, right? And then when I got here in the month, because I came for family and to do paperwork and stuff, I was like, maybe I should like use these and turn these into TikToks and like see what happens. And maybe I should post it on Instagram. And the people came and like, it's 99% love and appreciation. Tell me how much I've inspired in me. They're like, are you so brave? And I'm like, I'm not. To this day, I'm still afraid. Like it's still there, but it's like, it's not what I let lead me. I have to push it to the side and I have to correct myself in the moment with a lot of things. My negative self-talk, whenever the fear shows up, any of that. It's a process. And some days it's really difficult. Some days it's a breeze.
And that's life. And that is life. But you are saying yes. And that imposter syndrome shows up. It shows up for all of us, no matter what age you are. Last year, so last year, 2018, my channel took off and I was doing a lot of content on Africa. Spirit was saying, I have a different place where I want you to go, some different things that I want you to do. And I kept thinking with my, channel having so many views at the time, I was like, well, who am I, to really do this? And, who am I? And so I keep getting those reminders of who I am. I'm not this imposter. I actually am good. Right. I'm actually good at interviewing people. Right. That's just it's more like a conversation. And so this is just a talent for me. But
I learned that from imposter syndrome is really lack of confidence. And so I never thought I wasn't a confident person. So when I thought that, I was like, what? Like what? And then I also learned that when you don't go for your dreams, it's also a lack of confidence because you don't think you matter or you think you have nothing to offer. Like when I dug deeper, that's what I realized. Who am I? I don't have anything to offer. It's a lie. We all have something to offer. That's why we have all different fingerprints, unique and special, all of us with something to give of service. And I started to realize, white people do it all the time. They love to call themselves experts, right? Because I was on Wall Street and this girl, they will just graduate. And just because you came from Harvard, you think that you were an expert. Meanwhile, the girl who graduated community college, been here for 12 years and could run this whole company. But like, they just were already brought up to be like with that confidence. It's a part of the reason why I raise my children the way I do, because it does build self-confidence, the type of stuff. Like Judah doesn't believe he can't do stuff. Like he really doesn't. And to me, it's fascinating. And I'm just like, I wish I would have had that earlier. But if you don't believe it, fake it. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. But then you have to realize one of the things I tell all my clients to do when I first meet with them is to please write down something that comes easily to you. If it's even patience, you know that someone stands in a line as a job to wait on concert tickets, spots for people, whatever. He makes over $1 million a year because he's patient. Look at that. He's an expert at patience, right? And from patience, like even if you make people laugh, then I tell them, write down 50 things that you could do as a job making people laugh, using that skill. Even if it has nothing to do with laughter. Maybe you're just writing comedy. Maybe you're telling someone they're funny, whatever it is. So when they started doing that, they started realizing, I'm actually an expert. And I was like, you don't even need to be an expert like let's say graduate school level. If you are a person who's at kindergarten level or first grade level, someone is in pre-K and they don't know how to get to first grade. So you're an expert to that person. Start there.
Start
Because
there.
as you start like recognizing your own skill, you also start realizing what you need to develop more of. And then you keep going because it's building your confidence more and more. And then like you'll realize, I know my stuff. Like when people, I was like, I don't know about OffGrid, and they would ask questions. I'll be like, no, you should do that. And then I'll be like, oh, Janine, you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, Janine knows. Now, because getting back to the men, I love this conversation because hubby and I were just saying this week, and his spirit is funny. But I was just saying this week, I miss the spiritual content. I've been doing a lot of that, and I missed. And he was like, "Well, you should do more of it." And we were trying to figure out how we were going to incorporate it into the channel. And here we are. It's just so.
But spirit is in everything. Everything.
Everything.
So keep on doing what you're doing. You're gonna find that it happens because you cannot be doing anything in life and it's not connected somehow. If you're successful at it.
Right. Absolutely.
The omnipotence of God, when they say that, it's really true. Literally in everything, in everyone, everything. It's everywhere.
Everything. Well, one of the things when you were talking about the divine help that showed up, which is a testament of spirit being in everything, and all we hear, which I just try to hold my peace. I was saying to hubby, we were talking this week about a situation that happened, and I was saying I am the storm, because sometimes I look, if you talk, it's a couple things you're not going to be able to do. You're not going to talk about my people. I don't care where we are in the continent. I will bring the storm, and I try to hide her, as best we can. But if I had superpowers,
you don't have no behavior.
The storm is already a part of me, because people want to do this thing where, and I don't know if it's trolls or it's supremacists or who they are, but they want to get on creators channels and come with the negativity and talk about, oh, the crime in Jamaica or the crime. Look, I live in the crime capital of the United States, which is Memphis, Tennessee. We have just, the report.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. It's number one this year for 2020. They just came out with the report. Now, we are the city. If anyone knows, and I've talked about this before, but anyway, Young Dolph was murdered. Who was a huge international star on his way getting cookies at the store for
that's so crazy. He was good. Like.
He was, but this is the culture in which I live. So, and
can I just say one thing? What I realized in all that negativity, it's balance, right? Because you can't have light without the dark. It's not realistic. And so the goal with everything is when you're doing well, just expect that to show up. It's supposed to show up. Don't be aghast and just be like, okay, I recognize, because now let's make sure it doesn't overwhelm it. And then I had to look at, even with my TikTok, yes, it bothers you. I don't know why it triggers you so much. You focus on that, but what you focus on is what you get more of. And I was like, yo, Jay, look at this. 99.9% of the people are friggin' routing for you and hoping that you win. Like, that is what you focus on. Just know that when there is good, there will always be negative. When there's light, there's always dark. If there isn't, this isn't the regular world. Like, everything, yin and yang. We need that balance. So when it shows up, know that you're in balance. Stop looking at it as a bad thing. Don't classify it as good or bad. You are in balance.
There you are. So I'm the storm, and my husband is Buddha. My husband is the peace. So we do
that's a good balance.
Right. We do the harmony in the yin and the yang. But sometimes, I love that. And then it's like, okay, now we've gone. But that, that's a rarity. But you had, talking about crime in Jamaica, you had all of these amazing, beautiful people, loving people, supporting you, helping you build this cabin, and
cabins, more than one.
Cabin. Oh my goodness. I
Yeah,
have
I'm
a,
just showing
we
one
got a place
now,
to
but
stay in
we're
Jamaica.
building like 20 because now I'm creating like an eco village for single moms that they can come with their children. That was never on my agenda, but I'm realizing it was a need after like, because I've had so many consultations since I started last month. I literally started maybe 3 weeks ago, and I've
Okay.
met with 50 women already. Majority of them are single mothers. They all want what I'm doing. I thought this was just me. As usual, we're an ego. We think this is just only something we need. But most likely, if you want it, there are other people out there who want it too, and they don't know how to do it. I have a lady coming from Alaska. She wants to come stay there for a year. So I was like, okay, I got to find a space I have a space. I have 15 acres. So we just started building A-frame cabins for them. They were like, we'll stay in the tent. I'm like, nah, nah, nah. I'm going to get you a cabin. That was on the agenda anyways. I just didn't know it was going to look like this. So I stopped again putting up all these expectations of what it's supposed to look like, and then realize that my mission here, my assignment is to serve. And through doing that, everything else will work out.
Now, those cabins, because Milton is listening, they are not just for single moms.
No, no, no. We're going to have one section. We're doing an eco village for them, but then we're going to be building other cabins, and we'll have teepees and.
It's going to be beautiful.
Yes, in March
now,
we open up. By April, because it's Jamaica, so you never know, it's rainy season. So
okay.
I'm giving it, but March is my deadline, but I'm open to April.
Okay, where she is open. I want to hit so we've covered. I wanted to make sure we covered all of the big things we talked about. The Eco Village. Now let's talk about a little bit more about coaching. So you just had a woman that you were talking to who's coming, and
more than one are coming. I have
more
a teacher.
Millions are coming.
From your mouth to God's ears.
There you go.
To God's ears. No, but I'm being inspired by like all the different eco villages that are around the globe, because of doing this, people have been contacting me who this was a very lonely journey at first. And then I'm realizing, oh, there are more people like me, maybe not specifically like me as in a single mom doing it. Like I haven't met anyone else like that, but there are people of color and Black women all in Costa Rica, they're in Alaska, they're in the US, creating the same kind of opportunities for people to come and heal and just be these safe spaces for women of color, Black women, where they can come and just heal, because that doesn't exist. One, Black women are graduating college at a higher rate than anyone else, right? They're also not having families and children because of like, we all see the world, So they have this disposable income and they are traveling, and yet no one is serving this billion-dollar industry. And especially when it comes to wellness, where we know we as Black people have our very nuanced traumas as far as post-traumatic slave syndrome, and just like reconnecting and like getting out of this glass box that like you just can't be free. So there is that need. If it's even for a month, even for a week, even for a weekend, it resets you. And it's good to know that those spaces are available to us, because they weren't before. If you want to just show up in your bonnet and your slippers, do that, because we get it. Nobody's going to judge you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Your hair is not how it looks in your Airbnb photo. We don't care. We get it. Your hair half done with your braids. So, and you don't need to explain your existence. That was one of the things I disliked the most about traveling, is just like explaining myself, like, and like always being like this exotic thing, or it was just weird. And so, yeah, we want to create, I'm one of the women that's hopefully leading the charge in creating spaces, safe spaces for us to just be. And as far as the coaching goes, they can contact me I have it through a link tree in my bio on TikTok at Sovereign and OffGrid. It's one word, Sovereign and OffGrid. And it's also on Instagram. And I've had maybe 50 sessions already. 2 women next month are moving OffGrid already. One's going to Mexico, and one's going to Costa Rica. She's just going to go ahead. I was like, why don't you just try? You can always come back. And she's like, you're right. And then the thing too, I tell people is to start, if you can't leave now, start preparing. So if you're buying a vehicle, you're going to get a new car. Don't get a hatchback. Get maybe a truck, get a 4-wheel drive, get a Jeep, something that could translate to that life when it's time for there. So you won't need to go buy a vehicle when that time comes. So you're thinking long term.
Yes.
And
Now,
only, go ahead.
it speaks, it says it's a signal. I say it's like sending up smoke signals to
Facts.
spirit that I got it, and I'm working on the plan, right?
Absolutely.
I'm working,
Absolutely.
moving in
I'm
that
trusting
direction.
that even though I don't know how this is going to work out, I'm preparing for it.
Right. I bought years ago. I bought a camera when I wanted to start doing YouTube. I bought a camera for, I think this camera was $1.25 from a thrift store. Okay, didn't work. It was, and it was the camera that you still put the film in. But I bought it, and I sat it on my desk. Well, for Christmas one day, when the kids were home, the son came home from college, my daughter had just graduated. They bought me, and my husband bought me a camera. But this is like 2 or 3 years later, and I didn't ask for it. They were just like, "Oh, well, we
Yeah,
want to
you
go to
did
Best Buy."
inadvertently.
Right? I was like, they were like, they want to go to Best Buy. I was like, yeah, I want to go to Best Buy for what? So they were like, well, we'll go to dinner. We'll do best, and then we'll go to Best Buy. I was like, oh, okay. I'm not like thinking nothing. And hubby was like, pick out the camera you want.
Your
You
husband is
know,
amazing. He's
he
paying
is.
attention to the details, giving stuff you didn't ask for, and
Or,
it's right on point what you needed. That's amazing.
right. See and that's how spirit works. That is exactly how spirit works. Well, Frank has a question. He wants to know, where are you now, please? And if I'm not mistaken, Frank is in Ghana. So,
Oh, hi, Frank. I'm in New York right now. So
but and
my
you're
22-year-old cousin, now
uh,
we found out after he didn't have an autopsy, but we found out he had COVID, and he was like super religious, a zealot almost, like, so he fasts on the Sabbath, and he must have had it and no one knew, because when he's fasting he stays in his room. Then when the fast ended at 8 p.m. he went downstairs to go get the Uber Eats and literally fell and died. 22 years old. So my aunt was also ill. She has cancer. And then my grandmother had COVID, my aunt had COVID, my sister had COVID, my sister's grandpa died. Like, all this stuff was just happening. So I was like, I'm coming. I live on a farm with a lot of herbs. Let me come and see how I can help. But I realized my presence, I needed to be here because there were battles that had to be fought. And sometimes you call for the end. Like, sometimes when you fight in certain battles, you can't call for kind Aunt Joyce, that ancestor. Sometimes you gotta call for the ancestor that be slicing people, the one that
you
was
need
on
the
the block.
store.
And
You need
and
the
I'm the
store.
ancestor now that can slice paperwork up and foolishness and bureaucracy. So I'm so glad that I was here to be able to be of assistance and support to my family. But now I'm still waiting for one more death. So I am in New York right now and still doing, but other things good has happened to me too, because now I'm launching a course. Like, this huge influencer, like, starting this like self sustainability course, and it's like you can learn how to farm, learn how to build your own cabins, learn how to make your own clothing, and then I'm the instructor at the end where you put all of that together. This is what it looks like when you live off grid, and then part of the coursework, they get to come off grid and be on the property for like a week to see if like it's something they really want to do or could do and get the experience, because theoretics versus actual experience is different. So to answer Frank, I love Ghana. I would have been in Ghana, but Ghana got that jab requirement.
So, but you're off grid in Jamaica.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
100%.
And what part is it? Portland? No, it's where are
So
you?
I'm
St.
in St.
Anne?
Anne. So
St.
originally
Anne.
I was in Portland. That's where my property is in Portland, the one where Maroon Bubble is supposed to be. So that one is still off grid. So when I go back, I'm going to build a cabin on there. And now, since I'm doing off grid, I'm just going to keep it the same brand because it works. And then I don't have to connect with any, and I have a river there too. So I can still use the same hydropower, which is what we're using in St. Anne right now. That's what we're setting up.
Hydropower, because hubby and I'm making notes. I'm sorry, y'all know I take notes.
Yeah. I'm not doing solar. Oh wow.
Yeah, I got
I'm not doing solar because long term it's bad for the environment.
Okay.
And then also it's very, very expensive in Jamaica. So the other thing, to ship anything to Jamaica is astronomical. And so I had to then, that's another thing, like being off grid, I become so creative and just being like using what's available to me. Today I posted on my Instagram about putting up the water, and what we use for the pedestals were fallen trees. Some trees had fallen down in the 90s. That's how long them daggone trees been there. Some 300, 400-pound trees. And we use those logs as a pedestal for the 650-gallon water thing. And that was $0. That was just sweat equity to get it up the hill. It was very difficult, but we did it. So you have to be creative when you don't have options, and that's what our ancestors did. So again, trust that knowledge. Like all of a sudden we're engineers. Mommy, you have another bathroom. Sorry, 1 second. No, you need to come out and let him use it. You have damn time, man. Jamaican people.
Do you want to move to another location?
Okay. There are literally 2 bathrooms in the house. I don't know why my mom is insane. Welcome to Jamaican people.
Well, so and welcome. Hi, mommy. It's good to hear your voice. I love that. You know, I love the self-sustainability that you're doing this course, and just all of the wonderful things that you're doing, and the hydropower, because hubby and I were talking about that. We were like, well, how is the OffGrid? What's this taking? So it was really amazing.
Interesting. The guy who was the business manager that ended up, and I can't even blame him, because that was supposed to be his job to mess up for me to do this, because I wouldn't have had enough courage to do it. So I actually thank him for being the catalyst. He was my greatest teacher, and he pushed me towards my destiny. So I thank him for that. But he had knowledge, because he could use methane, which is something he's doing in Kenya now, where he uses cow dung to create energy. You can, there's so many. Wind, I didn't want wind because that could kill the birds, and I didn't want solar because that's destructive it causes pollution towards the end when you have to get rid of it. There's no real good way to dispose of solar. So, and I wanted something more long term. Like literally, I have a roaring, raging river that can create electricity. So he did what he did, and that's what we're stringing up for the whole eco village. Ultimately, nice. I want to create our own internet. And so I'm going to be going to Panama to see some other eco villages that have done that. So I'm still in the process of research and development for a lot of things, but everything is one stage at a time, one step at a time. And that's how I've been doing it.
One stage and one step at a time. We're going to get through some of these to make sure we hit all the questions. Blind guy, his wife, and their life. Maroon Goddess here today. Even more excited that she puts her family first in these times. Yes, absolutely. Of course, Milton said, good morning, everyone. He's saying, hello, Maroon Goddess. Jocelyn saying, good afternoon. Yes, thank you. And if you see the little circle beside Blind Guy, his wife, and their life, that is, they are members of the channel. And if you'd like to join the channel so we can continue to bring amazing guests like Maroon Goddess, then go ahead and hit that join button or email me at SYNOLVE@gmail.com so that you can learn more about how you can support Black media. Me. And I've left all the links below for Maroon Goddess so that you can connect with her on TikTok, on Instagram, so you can get her coaching, so you can learn about all of the course offerings and opportunities to stay at her Eco Village. There's so many opportunities, and I've left all those links below so that you can connect with her. So thank you. And thank you to Jocelyn for watching me all of the time. And yes, you do. Dwayne Records, yes. I think when you were talking about spirit, there were a lot of comments coming through. So he's got his prayer hands up. So yes, love that. And we've answered that one.
I'm in New York.
Yeah, she's in New York, but her Eco Village is in Jamaica. That inner work for healing is not something we hear about. It is impactful, and it is a grounding force. Yes, absolutely. It's so true.
It is what keeps showing up out there over and over and over. When it rains, it shows up. And then also I'm practicing celibacy out there. So then you have that other thing, because I realize if I say I want to heal, I can't just be giving away life force and taking in too much energy. So really being centered all the way and going inside. And I thought I'd done all this work already. I barely hit the surface because stuff coming up from when I was 5. And I'm like, what? What is that memory? I don't have any recollection of most of these things that are showing up. And it will happen at like the full moon or something, or I'll go outside because at one point we didn't have a roof on the bathroom. So the bathroom had 0 walls. And so you would go to use the bathroom, it's just all bush. And then you look up, only one part where the shower was had a tarp over it. So every time you would look up, it would just be sky. So in the mornings when I couldn't sleep, the moon will come through the window and it's so bright. That's another thing too. Did you know the moon moves like how the sun moves? I never knew that.
Wow.
So the moon will start off over here in the east, right? Yeah, it starts in the east and it goes all the way around. And by the time it reaches here, like close to where it's gonna, well, it never goes away, but like by the time it reaches like in the middle where the west is, it's super bright. So that's usually around 1 to about 3 a.m. And I always used to wake up between those hours. So I would just go to the bathroom because now I could see, because when it's dark, sometimes you can't see your hand in front of your face. That was scary at first. But then, like, I know now how to go because the moon is just like directing it. And it's almost like it was telling me to go. So I would listen. And I would just go out on the porch and just sit and just look up at the stars. And sometimes I'd be bawling, not know why I was bawling, but I had to release all this stuff because all these years of just
trauma.
One, I was in so much gratitude because I told you I love my Black man. Listen, leave them alone. They are showing up. Okay, allow them to show up first and foremost, but they're showing up. And I was just overwhelmed with so much gratitude. Like, I just had never felt love like that. It was profound. It was profound. Yes. And I would just be not mourning. I would just be weeping and wailing, just be like, thank you. And then through doing that, I guess it would bring up all the stuff. And then I would just weep that out and I'd be good. Raise up and start working again. And next thing you know, it happened 2 days later. And I'm like, it's like an onion. It just keeps going. But it's good. Because now I'm like really happy. See, my mom, usually old me would have been like, because, Jamaican people don't have no patience. And I'd be like, you're so crazy. And I would follow back that energy. Now I'm just like, I'm not paying attention to her. It's not the end of the world. Like, Mom, there's another bathroom. Please stop the bathroom.
It's okay. It's okay.
Like, now I'm so chill. And it's not because I'm not smoking herbs, none of that. It's just, I'm just chill. It's just, listen, life is good. There's too much good stuff in life to let like little trivial things take you off. And when you realize it's knocking you off some little insignificant things, it's greater than that. It's because you need peace within yourself.
You know what? I appreciate that because on Thursday they tore out our whole kitchen. Got a knock on the door that there was that there was a leak somewhere. So they tore out the whole kitchen. And so, I mean, the bathroom's still working in case y'all were wondering. Yes, we still have shower, whatever. Well, I mean, I'm just saying because people, you say one thing and ain't none. But we have no kitchen. So yesterday I was like having almost a full breakdown. And I would have interviewed you on Friday, actually. Because I was like, I would have done it, the next day. That's what I wanted. But they actually pulled the rest of the kitchen out. But, you have to sit in peace. Sometimes you don't know. You see people and everything looks great on Instagram, looks great on Facebook and all that, but you don't see maybe the storm or the things that you're going through. Maroon Goddess is here. Janine is here with us today, and she's had people in her family who have transitioned to be with the ancestors full time, and she still has joy. You still have peace. You get that peace from a connection, a true connection with spirit, but also allowing spirit to really dwell from within you. And that gives you joy and gives you strength in places where you had no idea that you could stand or be strong. And this is what I love about you, but this is what I love about the African diaspora all over the world, because we find ways to be strong. We find ways to go back to
it's not even so much strong. It's remembering that death is not the end. No. There's so much more than like what we've been conditioned to believe. Absolutely. Whether it be time, whether it be how work is supposed to look, what is success, all the things. Just know that it can be redefined. Find your own perspective, because being there, the ancestors that were speaking to me, some of them I never recognized. I didn't even know these people until, like, I was talking to my dad the other day, and he was like, yeah, you had a uncle that was like that. And I can't, of course, say to my dad, I can sometimes, but in that moment I can't be like, well, I had a dream about them and they told me this,
Right.
because these people were just showing up to me, but they had been there all along, talking to me, nudging me, doing that. Karis one had this video where he was like, he shows you something and he says, say it to yourself. He shows you a word and he says, say the word, and then don't speak it from your mouth, say it in your thoughts. So then he said, who is that voice inside?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't speak it, you heard it, no one
Mm-hmm.
else heard it, but you said it and you heard it. Who is that voice? That voice is all of them combined with you to show you it never ever ends.
Never.
That connection is there. That's why they say go within. That voice, that thing. So it and in nature it amplifies. It amplifies. Everything amplifies. Your fears, your thoughts, your everything amplifies. So why not make that piece amplified?
Absolutely. I always say that in a lot of ways, the ancestors were animist in the sense that they were so connected to the earth. They were so animism is
Definitely.
so connected to the earth that they were one with it. In like
I'm learning stuff about the woods I'm in. There are portals in those woods. I don't even like to talk this stuff to people. But
it's
there's
true.
one tree on my property. I make people sit under that tree. I know what you're about. It shows me. Your face changes. There was a lady that showed up but wasn't supposed to be there. I knew in my heart she wasn't supposed to be there. And by accident, she went under the tree and I heard Spirit say to me, don't go there. Stand where you are. And I just watched her and I just started asking questions and I literally saw her changing. By the time she was leaving, she looked exactly like what she had changed to in the tree. So I know that all kinds of, so now when stuff happens, I'm like, did that happen? I stop questioning it. Yes, that happened. You heard the owl. Yes, the owl did say, what the blood clot. Okay, that did happen.
About me.
You did see her first. I stopped questioning it because that's what this world teaches you to do, to question. No,
Everything.
that's that ancestral knowledge. Tap in.
Allow.
Don't question, allow it to.
Yeah, allow. That is beautiful because I have birds and all kinds of stuff, ladybugs and all kinds of stuff talking to me all the time. I promise you, they bring messages. Milton says, so true. We have to allow our brain the chance to grow and learn. Children have the capacity to do so much more when we just allow.
Get out the way.
Get out the way. Tanika is hello from Southern California. Look, Tanika. We're in cold Memphis.
I know it's all snowy out here.
we are jealous.
Low-key bragging. Is that a flex, Tamika? Dang, you didn't have to do us like that, girl. It's like 5 feet out there right now.
Oh gosh. Oh, you see. Okay, so Milton says, you are safer off grid living in nature. Look, because it's some of the two-leg.
Let me tell you, safety is an illusion no matter where you are, and I understand that, right? In Ghana, I got rooked up. Okay. In Brooklyn, nothing happened to me. In Central America, I got robbed on a chicken bus with men with Uzis. Wow. So safety is an illusion. So the thing, though, that I like about nature, for one, I didn't realize I was loud as I was. Right. So there you have to be softer because everything isn't soft, but like you have to be softer because you have to be aware of your surroundings in a way I've never had to before. My husband used to always say that, oh, don't walk with your headphones in your ears, be aware, look at the exits. And I'm just like, what the heck is this recon? Now, when I'm out there, I'm just like, I know if a coconut falls on the other side of the property, I know the difference between a coconut, between a banana, between, like, if it's just a stone, I can hear things before it come up. Like your senses are heightened because you tap in. So yes, even though it is safer there, that doesn't mean like I keep my guard down. No, even a generator, I don't run it at night. Like most people have a generator, have light at night. What the hell I need light? I'm not here for that. That's my goal, is not to bring my old life here with me. It's to try something different, be uncomfortable in it, and see how I can grow from that. That
is one of the things you brought up. I love though this idea of being safer in nature, in the sense only in, in the sense that when you were talking about how the coconuts, you were saying, oh, what am I going to eat today, and the coconut falls and the mango falls, it's like the earth is just, nature is just taking
We can't eat all
such
those
good care of you.
foods.
No,
Banana rotting. Like, listen, one day somebody came to buy some coconuts and they were like, do you think I could get 200 coconuts? He was a chef. He wanted to make some sweet potato pudding and all this stuff. And the guy who takes care of the property, he just laughed. He was like, yeah. And I'm like, we can get 200 coconuts out here? He said, come with me. And we just started walking around the coconut trees. Coconuts were falling for so long, they've been there. So we just picked them up and ups off the outside. Boom, dry coconut, dry. We literally had 300 coconuts by the time we were done. In 4 hours, we had 300 coconuts.
nice. Oh my gosh.
So the bananas fall all the time, just rotting on it. We can't eat it all. We can't. But that's another thing I learned. Rather than looking at it as waste, I'm realizing it's composting, because it's nature renewing herself. It's creating new soil for the new banana trees to come up. So I don't think about it as wasting anymore, because that's my old world stance. Versus, like, you take what you need and then you leave the rest.
And leave the rest.
And every year, before I moved there, every year we would gather all food from every one of the trees and do a huge, like, sacrifice, a burn, to give thanks to the ancestors. So we're definitely continuing that. And a lot of people think that's so strange. They're like, but people are so hungry. But I'm like, so are they. Like, like, thanks have to be given, because this is what's allowing all of this. Sun gazing now brings me to I never used to stare into the sun. I have big eyes. I would think something all the time. They tell me foolishness that something was going to happen to me. Nothing gonna happen to you. You actually get wiser. You get stronger. You get more energy. You can direct it. You start getting all kinds of powers you ain't know you had. But I'm talking too much.
No, because we burn things off in we always say in Mississippi, this is like normal. We burn things off at a certain time of the year, and so that's one reason that I love Jamaica. With it, and really working my plan to get to Jamaica, because I see so many similarities between the cultures. There's so much. And
country people in America, like Southern people, are very similar to Jamaican people. Because I used to think it was just like the rednecks, because I'm like, damn, what they call redneck stuff is just regular country stuff in Jamaica. We do all that stuff with animals. We love to ride around in the mud. We love dirt bikes. We do all them same things. We climb trees. But it's just the natural way of being. When you're in this artificial world of land and ice and steel, like, you think that you're supposed to just be one way. Nah, just go back to I'm a Maroon. We be in the trees. That's another form of defense, offense. We in the trees a lot.
There you go.
Judah climbing the trees a lot now too. He can do that in Central Park. I'd be like, come down, and like, you could sue, somebody could sue us if you get hurt, blah, blah, blah. Now the boy climbing all over. The best fruits are on the top of the tree. We got to send him to get it. Because they're not doing it.
This is so good. This is such a good this is such a good conversation. Milton has already said he was a wise little fellow. When your daughters, they were wrapping the bandage. I'm sure that's where this comes from.
No, that was Sela. That's the girl that did that.
Yeah.
But he's another one, though. He's very, very smart. The stuff that he says. And because I said to him the other day, he said, Mom, when do you think we'll get to go back? I said, listen, I thought we would have left already. And I'm learning now to just wait. Because you see, if we would have left, we would have missed all of this. And our family needs us. And I said to him, what do you miss the most, Judah? He's like, Mommy, I just miss the rain. I was like, you're 7. What do you mean you miss the rain? He's like, I just never seen rain like that. And it just sounds amazing. And I just look at it all the time. And I just feel like I go into a trance. I never knew he was having these effects from rain.
Your children, I'm telling you, will pick up those gifts. And he is a wise little fellow. Your children will pick up the gifts. And at different stages and different ages, I was preparing this conversation for my children. And we've had it often in different ways. But in the West, I had to pull back some of their gifts. And what I mean is just to hold them in a way, because you couldn't express them fully here in the West without someone thinking that you had some type of mental problem and mental issue, and it's not safe. So I pulled those back and held them. I had to ask Spirit how to do this, and held them almost in like a trust for them within myself until it was time.
See,
to
I didn't
release
do that. I was uncompromising. And so then I became a
here in the
problem and
West.
I'm
Yeah,
difficult. But I just wanted them to be even like, because I would go to the supermarket and I would see the, the other children running around. And I realized I was telling my, no, you stay here. Yeah, there's protocol. You're not going to run around. But then I started taking them out of the carriage because I realized the carriage was for me and not for them.
yeah.
And so if actually it's advantageous if that we're out, he gets exhausted. So by the time we get home, he goes straight to his bed and I get the rest of the evening to myself. So like it works for
It
both of us.
works.
Let him be. Let them
Right.
be. But
Right.
we're not gonna have you crawling on the ground and doing all that foolishness because there's rules for this. But I'm also not gonna be like, you can't do this, don't touch that. Black children hear that enough, all the stuff you can't do. And then you tell them you can do anything. So which one is it, Mom? Because all my life you raised me telling me I can't do this, I'm not supposed to do this, this ain't how we act. All these restrictions gotta stop. They're not helping us. They're harming us, and they're building fear. And this is why we have all this imposter syndrome within the community. Because now we start thinking, when you're grown now, all of a sudden you can do everything. No, if you weren't, that wasn't instilled in you from a very young age. You don't know how to develop that and cultivate that. And sometimes you don't even recognize that's what it is because you're living in all this fear because you must be a certain way. You have to perform and show up this way, and it's unrealistic. It's not fair.
It's unrealistic and it's plastic and it's not real. Uh, Aisha says,
Nothing.
LL, nothing works.
Nothing.
And Aisha from
Jamaica has taught me patience because literally every time I would leave my hill and go down on the flat, I get in a fight. I just can't take the stupidness, man. What you mean if I go to the hardware store, I gotta tell you what I need, and then you go get it, and then I come over to this window and I pay you, and then I go back to this lady to get a piece of paper, and then she gives it to me. Are you kidding me? And then I'm supposed to act like this is normal. So eventually I had to be like, before I go down on the flat to interact with people, I take 2 days to prepare now. I ground myself. I do a herbal steam. I meditate. And I literally become like Neo, who's about to enter into the matrix. Because everything is so loud. Everything is so different. It don't make no daggone sense. It's just not. And now I recognize it easier.
Right. So that's important. Black Goddess wife says, yes. Get your maroon skills tight, building fires using that cutlass. I mean, look, this is a beautiful.
I'm more interested in the guns. He could have say that cutlass, again. But I do have a axe. I have an axe that I have on my waist, in my cargo pants, or in my pockets. Nobody knows. You don't want to know because I will chop you if you try anything.
She's a true, fierce maroon goddess, y'all. Come on now. All right. Hi, everyone. SYNOLVE, you look beautiful. Well, thank you, man.
Yes, you do.
Y'all are so good. Thank you. Janika, my husband and I are loving hearing all of this from Maroon Goddess. We are too. Thank you. We are too. Now, Milton was laughing. I don't know what you were saying that was funny, but you got you are amazing, and everyone is loving you. Hi to our special guest. Yes, SYNOLVE. Welcome, SYNOLVE. Thank you for being here. You look beautiful, baby. Oh, you're so sweet. Okay, I only got cookies, Milton, so you know. All right. Say yes. You were saying something. You was like, just say yes. Just say yes to whatever.
That's my thing. There's this YouTube channel of these white kids that they spin the globe and they close their eye, and wherever the finger lands, they say yes to going there. And then they find someone in the airport or wherever they are when they decide and be like, do you want to come with us? And the person's job is to just say yes because it's going to be free. Yes. Do you know how many people tell them no? And every time the person who says yes, it is the most amazing thing ever. So I saw that years ago, but then it showed up again for me. And I was like, you know what, start 2022. I'm just going to, when the opportunities comes, because clearly I don't know nothing. I don't know a thing. So first, someone showed up, Ethiopian, and I learned so much from him. He's also another Black man that showed up for me. Now he's helping me with the graphics, and like I've gotten all these endorsements. I'm doing stuff for BioBag and these different companies now sending me stuff. That happened in 1 week after meeting this man because he helped me, and because I just said yes to an interview to him. You showed up. This is one of the dopest interview ever. Like, I'm having a great time. I've never been on YouTube. I always watch YouTube.
I'm the first. Oh, gosh.
And I was saving it for all these things because I had stuff scheduled for February and March. Listen, I don't know if February gonna come. I don't know if March gonna come. Let's live your life in the moment. That's where you live, is now. I don't live in the future and I can't live in the past. I live in the future, that's anxiety. I live in the past, that's depression. So all that's left is right here in the now. And I'm creating my life. I am producing myself and creating the life that I want now.
Now, absolutely. That's it. Farmer Girl, Jess, hello, everyone. Hello.
Farmer.
Yes, farmers. We love farmers. King Spotlight from Jamaica. Hey, Salam. Well, hello, King Spotlight, to yourself and everybody. But yes, welcome.
So him come from Jamaica. That guy come from Jamaica?
Yes, okay. He's from
so you have everybody on your channel, man.
Say that again.
I say you have everybody from around the world on your channel.
Yes.
Ghana, yes. Jamaica, everybody will show up, man.
Yes, we love Jamaica here. We love to try to go. We try to get there. Yes, I applaud you for listening and taking action.
I didn't have a choice because they nearly killed my ass at Cape Coast Castle. And that was my warning. And I heeded the warning.
And that's why I'm not going to Cape Coast. I know there is.
No, don't go there. You don't need to. You don't need to. That place should be for white people. Slavery is white people's history. It's not ours. There's nothing you're gonna reconnect to other than pain and torture. And don't forget that we are the survivors of the people that were there. That was the other thing that I didn't get. The most resounding thing was the door of no return. Now, what you should have is a plaque or something in commemoration of all the advances that we've made, even though this is what they try to do to us. So I think, and I can't knock it because it was a Jamaican woman who saved that space. She works for the Smithsonian. It's my friend's mother. So I understand why she wanted to preserve it, but it wasn't for me. And I didn't go there with the right energy. I don't like the commemoration that they have for that stupid white nurse, for the rapist. Like, they have more plaques. What about I know they brought some kings there. I know they brought some seers and some herbalists and some great people to wear their plaques. I'm just hearing about the stupid Dutch and all. Anyway.
No, because
it's not for me.
No. Well, let's go back to the ancestors. Milton says, my grandparents were farmers and taught us how to be proactive and creative to get what we need. And you were talking about that, being on the farm, being on your land, that you have to be proactive. You have to be creative.
I'm learning from an indigenous Maroon. He's been off grid now for 40 years. He left when he was 26. So he's literally teaching me the ropes, and now he's in his 60s. 26.
Was that his cabin that you showed on TikTok?
He built that cabin for me. Oh, the little one where I'm sitting like, yes, that's him, and that's his. And he doesn't even sleep in it. He sleeps under a tree.
Oh, nice.
He says that's for when it rains, and sometimes I don't even see him in there when it rains. I don't know why he has it. I think it's for show. It's just to say that he has a cabin, but he literally sleeps under the tree. He eats fire. He's fasting. He's friggin' corn and meats. He's hunting. But his job, he says, his assignment from God was to furnish the earth. This is why there are over 400 coconut trees on there. This is why there are 300 banana trees, 200 plantain trees. He didn't care about money, and that property could have made him millions of dollars. He didn't care about that. Every time he just uses it for what his own basic necessities are. And sometimes he doesn't even see people for a year. If you see him, it's because somebody requested him, because he likes to go see the older people in the community, because he's like, I don't want him to pass away and they don't see me, because everybody comes to him. I've learned so much about herbs from him. I've learned about different ways of eating. One of the things that he teaches is how to produce yourself. So when you're out there, you can't eat. When I showed up, I was an alkaline vegan. I don't eat this. I don't eat that. I've been good. This is what I do. And then I started waking up mad weak. And I was like, why do I feel so weak in the morning? He said, because this is a different environment. You can't come. He said, when the revolution starts, if we in the jungle, you can't talk about you can't eat this leaf right here. You can only eat quinoa. That ain't how this works. I'm gonna show you. He said this is you have to. And I didn't want to accept that at first, but then I started to feel the effects from just like Every morning we have to take oil. He does these herbal oils that I take. He says your body doesn't need water; it needs oil, like a thing. He said the
Mm.
water is what causes cold. That was a different thinking. I didn't want to accept that because all my life, drink water, drink water,
Water,
drink
water,
water.
water, water.
But the way we get water now is from the fruits. We get water from coconuts. We get water from fruits. We don't drink water like that, but we do drink oil. He makes these herbal oils that are and they taste so, and you can use it on your skin and you can use it in your hair. And then we steam rather than bathe. We steam with herbs every day. Like there's like
Mm.
this teepee that we steam in, and he uses like pimento. He uses different types of herbs, and my skin has never been better. When I'm
I
out there,
know
I'm
you're glowing.
glowing.
You are glowing. You are.
No, this is America soot now. I'm telling you, when I'm out there, it's different, and it
Mm.
also brings a certain peace because when you're steaming, you're in there for like half an hour. I usually go to an hour because I also do a body scrub while I'm in there because that's my field, like beauty. So I'm gonna do a body something, and I never really got to spend that much time with myself, and I really got to learn different parts of my body, and like I could feel different pains someplace, and I just kept losing weight. Just the weight, just the water weight was coming off, and I didn't realize majority of it was water weight. Nobody got sick. Nobody has had COVID. We've been there since what, June? We just came here in December. Even now, everybody around us getting sick. My mom had COVID. My sisters had COVID. None of my kids. We're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
This is why you need to go to Jamaica. I'm just saying, and spend some time at the Eco Village. For some, Milton asked, for some, going to the other side of town can be a challenge. We
Yeah,
know,
man.
right? So, what would
Jamaican
you
people don't
say?
understand it. When I went to go do my braids, they were like, "What do you mean you live in? What do you mean you gotta get back by 3 o'clock?" I said, "Because I don't want it to get dark." They're like, "So?" I said, "I live in the bush." They said, "What do you mean you don't have no light?" They couldn't even grasp that I don't have a refrigerator. So, because you're on the island, don't think because you're there, people are all living like this. They think it's ancient and backwards, but I don't
No,
have no stress because I don't have no bills. That's not one of my concerns lay now.
come on,
Forget
somebody.
a bill.
Preach, preach in this house. Look, no bills, happy and at peace. Food everywhere. That you're not having to run to the grocery store every 5 minutes to pay
Plus, I
five
had
dollars
brought
for
my
one bag.
barrels of all my quinoa, my teff, my flours, my butters, my everything that I could have thought that I would have needed out there, even plates. So I'm good. I just paid my duty to clear my stuff, and we goody. The books, even stuff for the business. I have some barrels for the business. So that's what I'm gonna do here too. And I basically ship a lot of stuff from my apartment. I reuse that. It's new to them down there. Nobody gonna know. I bought
So,
beds though. Everything I bought down there was like the mattress, and I had the furniture made because I wanted it to be done by indigenous like carpenter. He does amazing work. The wood came from the land, the cedar. He did it with cedar and mahogany. My floors are Maho. Maho is so beautiful.
mm,
Lignum Vitae, Jamaica's national wood. And so we build like the cabinets out of that. Gorgeous, gorgeous.
wow. And are the trees right off your land?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
See, you're not even have. Do you know how high expensive wood is? But okay, go back because my mind is going now. You had things shipped from here, from
Mm-hmm.
U.S. to Jamaica. That was
Mm-hmm.
what you were saying in the barrels.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, y'all. Okay, we.
The wood is very expensive in Jamaica because at first I was like, oh, I gotta get this done. That's another thing that being out there taught me is to have patience. I was like, this is taking too long. Let me go to the hardware and buy the wood. When I went to the hardware to buy the wood, that's very expensive. Then I went back 3 months later, it was 3 times the price. I was like, oh, no, 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 no.
No.
So when you cut down trees, you have to let it drain, right? It takes 3 months to drain. So even all those things are processes. It's like, why can't it be quick? It ain't quick. This is what it is. This is how it is. It's given its life. This tree done been alive for 30 years. The least you could do is honor it with a daggone 3 months so that it can do what it do. And
Yeah.
one of the trees we
Three
cut
months.
down had this huge hive in it. The whole trunk is a hive. So now I bought bee suits for when up here for when we go back because I bought them for the kids and me, and we've been studying. So that's another thing. I told you how stuff will show up, and then you're like, okay, let me go learn about that. So then God brings this lady to me who's the #1 beekeeper in Jamaica. She was a follower of mine from my old page. Because I got rid of my old page. I had like 250,000 people. I got rid of the whole page. I started everything brand new. changed the name, everything. And she found me again. And I had not, we used to talk, but then we started talking. She was like, you know, I'm the #1 beekeeper. I'm like, are you? So now I'm getting advice from this lady. And then she's telling me where I can go in Jamaica. She's like, oh, don't buy that here. You can get that easily there, which is the kind of direction I needed. So the moment you start, here comes Spirit, giving you everything you need, connecting with the people who are going to help you get to where you need. Yeah. And if I didn't have the patience to cut down the tree, I wouldn't have known the beehive was. We saw the bees moving from tree to tree. We just didn't know they lived in that tree because it was a huge, huge cedar tree. The whole thing, like literally from like a city block long, the tree is so long. And it's full of bees. And no sawman wanted to go near it. So we had to smoke it. I went on the internet and I was like, we can smoke it. But nobody still wants to cut it. But now she told me what to do and how to transfer them.
Oh, nice. See, being open. Now, for anyone, as Milton's asked this question, what will you tell people to do to make the big move to another country? What is your top 2 things?
The first question I would say is, why do you want to do it? And I don't want you to take 5 minutes to answer that question. That's a question that maybe you should take a week to answer. And every time something comes up, write it down, because you're going to start realizing it's less about them and it's going to be more about the needs and what Spirit is telling you that you need. And then based off that is where that would be the criteria I would use to choose the place that you move to. Because we had Thailand, we had Ghana on. We found a spot in Kumasi. I bought a piece of land in Kumasi during COVID. Like I was going to go to Kumasi. We looked at Mexico because, you know, they have a thriving community over there. And then Jamaica. I was trying everything not to make it Jamaica because of all the crap you hear about with people. And I was just like, I just want the kids to learn another language. It'd be so cool if they could learn Tree. And like, now my Ghanaian friends are coming to Jamaica. Like I have 3 people that are going to come to work with me. And I'd rather work with them than the Jamaicans in the area. So they're going to bring the food. They're going to bring the culture anyway. So everything is working out. So I would use that to be the criteria as to which country I choose. For me, it was proximity. So in case I was thinking about my family, because my mom and my dad are in America. My sisters and brothers are here too. I only have a couple down there, but majority of the people are up here. So I wanted the kids to be able to have access to their dad and their family too. So I can send them in the summertime, because even though we're there, I didn't apply for Jamaican citizenship. I'm going to do that later on, but like I'm doing stuff in stage because it was COVID, right? Mm-hmm. Nothing is moving the same way. So I want to be able to come back and forth anyways, and we're going to need stuff to re-up because food is very expensive in Jamaica. So what I do now is like when I'm in Jamaica, I'll still look at sales on ShopRite and I'll have it delivered to the house to go into the barrel. So if it's salmon that's on sale, I buy a case of salmon. And maybe that's all I can buy for the month. But look at one Coke or full basket. And that's what I learned those 3 years of preparing for this.
Very good. Yes, prepare. King Spotlight says, hello, Maroon Goddess. I'm glad to see you. And Farmer Girl.
Wait, is Farmer Girl just the girl in Jamaica that does the farming?
Leading the Eco
Sustainable. I on my own page. She's so boss. Okay, that's dope.
Thank you. Thank you both. Thank you, all 3 of you, for being here. Thank everybody for being here. But I'm excited that we're connecting. This is how Spirit connects. The people that need to be here and show up and need to be here, they come. And I am just so grateful because Farmer Girl, I'm going to be looking for you. So Leaf Green says, she sounds very interesting. I want to relocate since 2004 to Jamaica. My parents were from there, but no longer with us. So I need all the information there is to relocate. Okay. Well, you need to set up.
Let's create a plan for you. It's totally doable. I personally think if you have a support system, like it's good to have them close by. But for me, I didn't want to be around any of my family. Not that my family bad people. I just really needed this journey alone. I didn't want anybody injecting their own opinions and their fear into my process. And I couldn't have them because this doesn't look like anything anyone in my family has done. This is what they were all escaping. My mom is from the country in Clarendon. They all came to Kingston, right, to create a new life. My dad is from Kingston, so I've known this all my life. So they can't expect this Kingstonian girl now want to go live in the bush. But they don't understand. It's not about living in the bush. That's not what it's about. So if you have good family, then you keep them around you or you go near them. But if not, don't be afraid to venture out. Just make sure you do your research and you set up an infrastructure that will keep you safe.
Very good. So one thing that King Spotlight said was keep on inspiring us. Leaf Green, that was a great. That's a great question, great observation. Needing all the information, so all you got to do now is go set up your one-on-one
That could help you.
With Maroon Goddess, and I have all her links below to her TikTok, and you can hit her link tree that's in her bio. Also on Instagram, her link tree is in her bio, and it'll take you right there where you can schedule a 60-minute consultation with her. Milton is saying, in your opinion, what's your favorite or the best Jamaican dish? Milton loves food.
I love ackee and saltfish. That's one of my, I can cook that in my sleep and it'd be amazing. But recently, to be honest, I've been playing around a lot with like indigenous foods. So I don't know if you know dukuno.
No.
That's like cornmeal and coconut, and you do it in the banana leaf. You know, you do different spices with vanilla, nutmeg, cinnamon, and all that. And then you wrap it in the banana leaf and you boil it. So it ends up being like I don't even know what to call that. Is that a custard? Anyway, and then you can sprinkle stuff on it. You can eat it with other kinds of like savory dishes, like vegetables, but it's very sweet and it tastes like a sweet potato pie, but it tastes like a cornmeal potato, like coconut pie. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. So we messing a lot with that. And then a lot of soup. So one of the soups I showed you was that coconut milk based soup. Like usually in Jamaica, like you see that a lot in Thailand, but when it was made by my friend, like he did it with all these flavors that were so typical Jamaican, amazing. And one of my favorite new things now is making chai teas out of all the herbs. Did you know that you can use kola nut to make a chai tea?
Oh, nice. No.
So that's what I'm telling you about. Like when he says we're eating now to produce ourselves. So now the foods that we eat automatically cleanse us, right? So even though I'm eating meat, it doesn't stay in my body long because the type of foods we eat is always clearing it out. So he grates the kola nut. He uses it with freshly grated coconut milk. He puts it together with vanilla, cinnamon, all kinds of stuff, sweet. And it's amazing. That's like me and the kids' favorite. But usually you drink busy tea if you're poisoned.
Yeah.
But now it's almost preventative, right? So prevention is better than cure. So now you're getting your system already active. So maybe that's why we don't even get a cold or anything and don't realize it. We use the breadfruit leaf. We have so much breadfruit. Different kinds of breadfruit. The yellow leaf versus the green leaf give you a different flavor. So we make chai teas out of that. The coconut literally is in every base. It's a base for every meal that we've had. And I knew that it was the most alkaline like thing on the earth, according to Sadie. But I really didn't understand the uses of it. We use it for insect repellents. We use it for torches at night. Did you know there are parts of the coconut tree that you can light and it literally stays like a torch the whole time until it burns all the way down?
Wow. I'm loving so much.
I use the coconut, the I don't even know what, I need to figure out what those parts are called. Maybe I should get a botanist to show me. But I use parts of it for decoration in the cabin. Just the parts that fall down. You know, the ones that have like those limb things that the little coconuts are on. Use that for decoration. We use again, if you mosquito around you burn that, they stay away. It's a natural repellent. I use the brush, the thing that looks like burlap. I use that to wrap stuff. Now I'm using the plantain leaf and the banana leaf to stuff in these bags, and I use them for seeding. And that's what I'm using under the teepees to create like instead of a sponge. So we created a natural sponge. I created one making an L-shaped couch out of all stuff that was going to be thrown away or burned. So I'm becoming more creative, but part of it too, like he'll teach me something and I'm like, well, you know, I feel like it has other applications. So as someone teaches me something, then something else comes, because the whole time you're there, because your brain is free, you get so many ideas. They come one after the other. And I know Farmer Girl just know what I'm talking about, because sometimes you come up and you're like, dang, I'm a whole engineer out here. Like, how did I do this? I don't know how I did this. Like even my sink is a Dutch pot. And then now I'm having to make a giant Dutch pot so I can have a bathtub that's a Dutch pot. I would have never thought about that kind of stuff up here. But only there.
Only there. The knowledge just flows and comes, and that's beautiful. Thank you so much, Kinganda, for the super chat. Thank you so much. This is my nephew Kinganda has a beautiful, amazing 2 channels, but Kinganda is one of his channels where he talks to expats, repats, and people who live in Uganda and Kenya. And he is from he's from America and studying medicine. He should be back in.
Where is he in Uganda?
He's based in Uganda.
There's this lady I follow that grows like mushrooms there. Like it's really big in Uganda. That's cool.
That is cool. And so he's a big supporter. I appreciate you so much, Kinganda, for always supporting me. Yeah. And so we've got to really continue to support each other. What was I gonna say? Oh, I was gonna say, if anybody else wants to give a super chat, just go ahead and give the little super chat button, click on it, and I would have greatly appreciated it, because I'm funding my trip to go to Jamaica. This is where my Jamaica comes from. Full transparency. Look, I'm a full transparency up here, so I appreciate it. What did you say? You said what did you say? Oh, yeah, she said no, do not flex it. She's from DMV, Tanika. Born and raised, so I understand the snow. I appreciate living in Southern California for the past 12 years, and my body and soul are needed the weather. And Tanika is relocating to Africa. So yes.
Where in Africa?
I don't know. I did know, Tanika. Is it Ghana or the Gambia? Or Sierra Leone.
I hear a lot about the Gambia. The girls in the Gambia on the internet, they're not normal. Oof. They are fancy, honey. But if you're a vegetarian, it's very hard to move to the Gambia.
Very hard. Well, that's why you need to come to Jamaica. I'm telling everybody, come to Jamaica. King Spotlight says, Kinganda, welcome. Yes, Kinganda, welcome. King Spotlight, yes, I was born in Jamaica, raised between Brooklyn, New York, Rockville, Maryland. So that's where you're from. What's music says, I don't know music, but
the origin of the Maroons. The Maroons are a combination of West Africans, the indigenous Tainos that were on the island, as well as the Moors that were on Jamaica before anybody else came.
Okay. And you are a Maroon by birth and by heritage.
By heritage, yeah. My father's side actually comes from the lineage of Paul Bogle. But the funny thing is, and that's our national hero in Jamaica. But the funny thing is, they don't never talk about it. And from when I was little, anything that I learned would have been from school. So it's only, again, through my own journey that I'm learning things like that were never, and I'm telling my dad stuff like, this is what I learned. So now that's one of my other objectives. Once I become settled in this, I plan on doing a walk around Jamaica. I'm going to do it with the kids. My spirit keeps telling me to do it because people keep saying it's so dangerous. And something is telling me just go do a walk. So if it takes me a year, I don't know yet. So I just want to get this out the way first. And I also want to go to Nanny Town and like learn from the herbalists there. I want to learn from a female herbalist for once, because I learned through Dr. Sebi. I'm now learning through Congo, who's my mentor. But I really want that. I yearn for that feminine energy.
You and I have that in common. I actually signed up for school. Anyway, we're gonna laugh about that.
But women make the best healers. Sebi even told me that. So I want to learn from a woman. And it's not that like I haven't learned enough. I am learning so much and new stuff I didn't know, of course. But I just feel like what they'll offer, I just know. So maybe this is preparation for that. Maybe that's the advanced level. That's the way I have to look at it, you know?
Yes.
But that's my goal. I'm hoping to do it before September 2022. That's the goal I've set for myself, where I can go, because I would live maybe there for like 4 to 6 months in Maroon Town.
Oh, really? And learn.
I really want to.
In Maroon Town and learn herbalism.
Yeah, well, expand what I know. Learn the traditional ways there.
Okay.
There's a master herbalist there. She's like the village one, and that's who I want to learn from. And that's part of the reason why I even went to settled in Portland in the first place. So I think once this is over, everything will go full circle, and that will be the time. But first, I have to complete this assignment.
Yes, I signed up for school to become an herbalist, and then I got sick, and then Spirit said to me, "I want you to learn from your people," and I was like, "Well, where we go to do that?"
That's the same thing. I'm not going to a school.
I
I'm
was,
not
and I
going to
got it.
school for it.
I got accepted. I was so excited. And Spirit started showing me things. Maybe we'll talk about this one time. But Spirit started showing me things, and I was like, I was just having a dream, just kind of sitting there, and I could hear it loud. It woke me up out of the dream. You need to learn from your people, and I was like, well, and that's when I became. That's why I understand when you were talking about the spirit speaking to you. It's audible. It's you hear it, you know it, and that's when I became interested in Jamaica. And so that's one of my when you say why, that's one of those. That's one of my reasons why to come to Jamaica is to learn herbalism.
One of the things I learned from Sebi when I was in Honduras with him, every morning he would walk and go into the mountains, and every morning he said he would like see a new herb.
Mm,
It's not that he learned his herbs from a book. He
no.
said all it's going to be is regurgitated information. So the way he learned was by observing. He would go for a walk. He would see which animals were around it. He said if no bees or no birds mess with it, he knew don't even bother go look over there. That's not a good one. That's one that's full of acid. It's not an alkaline herb. Then when he would recognize something, he would watch it because he walked 2 times. He walk in the morning, he walk in the evening, he walk early morning. So then he said one time he stepped on one and it sprung right back up. And then he picked that herb. Come to find out that herb was good for your bones. So then that's how he was like dropping on his knees all the time at 80 and springing back up because he was taking that herb. And that was from what? Simply walking, and he stepped on an herb one day and he realized it sprung up. So in that, he told me part of learning how to heal is observing. Sometimes they're going to look just like the organ. It's going to have characteristics of whatever the symptom is the person has. Like for me, when I got to Jamaica, I had a fungus. And Congo said to me, I'm going to make you heal yourself. And I'm like, bro, just tell me. I know you know which concoction. He said, the only thing I'm going to tell you is you can use fire. You can use any element that the fire creates. So I started using intense heat on it and ash. It was going away, but he said, now you should use some herbs. So I just then, the thing too with herbs, they speak to you.
They
Because the
do.
whole time I'm there, I never noticed the noni tree. Then I look at the noni and it had the same dots, like my foot had the dots. And I was like, I wonder if I could use the noni. And I used the noni, and that's what helped me. And that into doing that is when I discovered I had the duck flower. Meanwhile, the duck flower had been there around me the whole time, and I never saw it for months. I don't see the duck flower. And then the moment one day I just went and sat down and I just looked up and I was like, holy crap. And then I called him. I said, yo, do you know what this is? He doesn't know the herb. And I'm like, this is a dog flower. He's like, oh, don't worry, but I'm thinking something grow every day. He said, this is so much of it, I have to cut it down. And then he started walking me around the land. Nothing but dog flowers taking over the whole place. So the herbs will talk to you when you're ready. So you have to
They
trust that.
They will. They absolutely. That is my journey. When I was little. So anyway, I had this prophecy. This guy comes to this tent and he says, "You're a healer," but I didn't understand what that meant. I had no concept. I'm thinking traditional. Hold your hands up. You are healed. Okay, that ain't it. So so I've started having all these allergies to food. I couldn't milk. I couldn't do corn. I couldn't do all this stuff. Hubby was like, well, we're going to grow food so you can eat, because the food he would grow, I would eat and I wouldn't get sick. If you go to the hospital a couple times, you're shooting yourselves with EpiPen and you can't breathe. They don't know, stuff swelling. My eyes are swelling, my lip, is way out from my face. He's like, no, we're going to grow your own. We're going to grow food, and we're going to eat the food that we grow. And so that's kind of how it started. He started growing food so I could eat and stay alive. And then we started growing our own herbs. Well, I said that I was saying this year, I was saying, oh, I really want to do two things. I said these words, specific words. I said, I love my husband. I want to help him heal from diabetes. Okay. I said, I specific words. I love the color yellow. So I'm walking around, we're walking around, and I started seeing this yellow flower everywhere. It was goldenrod. Goldenrod is one of the number one healers to help you heal diabetes.
Wow.
And when I saw the flower, I said, I love yellow. And I ended up taking pictures. When we had same thing when I with my allergies, I was like, I really want something so I'm not taking so much Benadryl and all these other things whenever I have allergic reaction. Mullen. I went home to Mississippi. Mullen was, Mullen was everywhere. And I was like, oh, well, I wonder what it is. So I just grabbed a whole bunch of it, not even knowing what it
You
does.
can also determine it by the color, which organ it would treat.
Well, wow. And it's green. So
that
green
can work with the heart too.
Oh, nice. So I'm just learning. I say that I'm an intuitive herbalist. That's what I call myself.
All herbalists are.
Because
all real herbalists are. You learn the tradition, but it's all intuitive.
It's all intuitive. Well, I was just saying it. I was just throwing this around like, I'm an intuitive herbalist. But that's what I was. But my folks, I came from, my people in Mississippi, that's what they did. They used herbs to heal themselves. They would just go outside to get a plant, it was usually an infusion of tea, and they, add hot water, let it steep, add honey, whatever oil was mostly Jack Daniel, but that's a whole nother story.
The other thing I learned, when you're doing the teas, you should always do it in odd numbers.
Ah, okay.
Always mix three or more.
That's why I do that, but I just was doing. Well,
I didn't know that until I got to Jamaica. I learned all that kind of stuff. Simple, and then another thing is, you don't reap the herb unless it's a dark night or a full moon. Mm-hmm. That's when they're fullest in their power. Even with the trees, that was another thing I had to learn with patients. I couldn't cut the tree anytime, because then it would get chichi in it, or dry rot or whatever will happen. So you have to wait. And then everything with nature was that way. So you just have to be on that time. You can't come with your city time and think, oh, I want it. That ain't how this work here. They let me know over and over again. That ain't how this working here.
That ain't how it's working here. DC, what up, Uganda? If it's hell up, how's Uganda? How is Uganda? I'm sure Uganda as well. I was just listening to someone talk about Uganda the other day. So many.
I was supposed to go for Neggin, and I never made it because of COVID, and I was so heated because it was supposed to happen. I think it did still happen, but that's like a huge rave they have in the jungle.
Really?
With all Afro beats and the cool music that they have in Kenya and Tanzania and South Africa, and all the it's lit.
That sounds like my place. Sounds like my place. Leaf Green says, "Say is so funny." I don't know what I don't know what was happening, but we were laughing a moment ago. So you are very much a comedian. But you know that you have a beautiful spirit. Milton says the earth supplies everything we need. You were talking about that. We're almost to the end, guys. We are gonna let her go because I'm sure she has other things. So Nika says, no, I was looking at, Tanzania. Okay. But Heavy and
I love that. I would love to be on Zanzibar. I see myself doing a Maroon Bubble Zanzibar.
Oh, nice. But we are looking at 2 different countries instead. She didn't tell us which one it was. Oh, you did. We'll not say, but it's not Ghana and it's not so she's not gonna tell us. Well, Tanika, let us know. When you do, will you let us know? Let us know.
Nah, sometimes you gotta keep it in your pocket,
Right. Once you do, she'll let us know.
You're going to marry one? Oh yeah?
All right now.
It's the same like marrying, he's Haitian. It's the same like marrying a Ghanaian. It's the same thing.
Okay.
They're the same people.
Akatunde of the Haitians. I'm going to marry a Jamaican Maroon now. Okay. Do you have any? Did you know already, or were you saying something? Someone in particular now? No. So I'm surprised. Let's see. We're putting that in time out. That's what we're doing there. Well, let's see, Tanika. Goldenrod is the bomb. It is. My husband loves using goldenrod. I ordered him the oil a couple of months ago, and he has fallen in love with goldenrod. The scent is so earthy. It is, and I'm planning on trying to learn how to do a goldenrod um, oil because I did the oh, not the mullein. I didn't do a mullein. Oh, I did a comfrey oil, and I promise you that oil has healed. Comfrey will heal.
The
Talk
oil
about
is everything.
oh yeah,
I'm all about oils now.
Comfrey will heal every.
Are you ingesting it? Or are you using it on the skin?
Okay, so we know what the FDA has said about comfrey and ingesting it, but the old timers, of course, they ingested it. But this is my comfrey oil. I got a couple of bottles.
It's a good bottle.
Yeah,
I need some of those.
You know what I use? It's a drink. I'll have to send you.
Okay, no, but I know where to get them. It's just that it usually costs more money, and then like to ship them into Jamaica. But it's just part of doing business. Is what you have to do because it stores better in there. I have some black ones right now.
Okay, my daughter drinks. It's
kombucha.
It's a kombucha. And I just stripped her. Y'all probably can see I've been trying to get that off, but I just stripped these off, and she drinks so many of them that I was like, oh,
she can make her own kombucha. You know, in Jamaica, I've seen a lot of women making their own kombucha.
Really, sorrel?
Very simple. It's basically tea, fermented tea.
Don't give me no idea.
No, literally, it's very, very easy to make.
So I'm gonna do it. Y'all see me making tea. Goldenrod smells like cedarwood oil.
Okay.
Yeah, the scent of goldenrod it is very unique. Milton is saying thank you so much for all this great information. Tanika says she's gonna let us know when we go. Good, Tanika. See, come on back and let us know. Akatunde, I was just being funny. No,
we know.
Speak it into existence, Akatunde. Speak
but you know that we speak truth in jest.
There you go. Speak it into existence. I always, because I always feel like I'm Jamaican, but historically we know that African Americans and people from the Caribbean especially are related, because what they would do, they bring them, with the whole triangle, they bring them from Africa, bring them into the States, and then separate families and sell them off and ship our ancestors to the Caribbean and other places. So literally we are brothers and sisters and all of that other good
stuff. I
found
out when I was in New York, there's this tour called Black Gotham. And I found out, Wall Street was burned down 3 times by us. By this one time it was burned down by this pregnant Black lady named Sarah. But they were kicking the British behind, right? And it was a Maroon that went to Jamaica and told them how they beat the British. And that's how they used those tactics to then beat the British, combined with their own, of course, because that was an 83-year war. So that was insane. And then it was a Maroon that then left and went to Haiti to help them fight the French over there and become the. So we beat the British. Wow. Then they beat so we used to share information all the time. I'd love. You're looking for the phone. Oh, okay.
No, it's me. For some reason, I'm saying I'm gonna put you on the. There I'm back. It's just the internet. She don't want to play that. But we have such a rich history. They are frozen again. But we have such a rich history of the work that we do. Here we go. We're frozen. Let me get me out of frozen until I come back. But we have such a rich history as fighters and as strong leaders in this world. And so I'm happy that people are really recognizing this history. and trying to turn myself back on. Why am I out? Let's see. Trying to get myself back in because she's not happy. Why are you not happy here? Oh,
that's okay. Yeah, but if anyone's in New York, I definitely I recommend doing that tour. It's incredible the stuff that we did. We literally, we know we did, but it's very interesting to know that all the history is still there that we walk past. Because I literally worked on Wall Street and I wouldn't see none of this stuff. I would see the 1 and 2 church, but I never really looked and read. Even Deutsche Bank, that was a huge place where they sold us. And literally it's still a bank, made their money selling people, still there. Same location. All they did was put a little plaque to be like, yeah, we used to sell humans here.
Oh
But
no.
the fact that that history is still rich and there, and it were, and most of the people there at the time, they weren't enslaved. They were
Mhm.
skills workmen, like craftsmen and like shipbuilders and masons and carpenters, and they would live in Brooklyn and Seneca Village, and they would take their boats from Brooklyn into Manhattan. So I think it's important for anyone in that area, especially if you have children, bring them on that tour. It's a walk-in tour, and you get to see the real life history. There's still remnants of it all downtown Manhattan.
All downtown. We want to get through these questions. For some reason, my camera is going out. Can you? Oh, there I am again. Let's see. Here I am again. Can you please help me? A single mom with a young daughter. How can we contact you?
So I have a link in my bio, Sovereign and OffGrid, on Instagram or on TikTok. That's the name. And you can contact me there, or sovereign and offgrid at gmail.com.
At gmail.com. And I have left all of these links below in the description box. So if you want to be able to connect with her, you definitely can. All you got to do is just go click down on that description box, and it's going to take you straight to be able to connect with her. Okay, I'm stuck again.
And there are other communities too that I discovered in Jamaica. There's a brother that's building, he's in St. Thomas though. He's on top of a mountain and he's building these domes, like yeah, he's building domes. And they have created, like, they have their own Montessori school. They have an organic farm. Actually, they're the ones that throw the organic, the Jamaica's only farmers market right now. That's in Kingston. It's at the Hope Gardens Zoo, botanical gardens. I hope with Hope Botanical Gardens. But you can buy in with them too. And so when you have that, there are other options other than just being by yourself. You can choose to be with a community, and they're like, they do more communal style living. They have a spa on the property. Everyone gets to work the land. I guess the people that started it, there were teachers in California, in Philadelphia. So they're Montessori schools, and then people take turns with the cooking or this or that. So it's easier for you. And then if you choose to leave, you still own your dome, and you can rent it out, whatever, and still make money from it. Let's say you have to come abroad to go work and for 6 months or whatever, you can still rent it out and still get residual income from it. So that's another option too, is living within these like eco communities of like-minded people with the same goals and their children there, so you don't have to feel like you're all alone.
Absolutely. Great answer. Great answer that there are multiple um, villages and opportunities out there. You just have to be open. You just
I
have
can
to.
link you with him. His name is Source Farms. His name is Dwight. But the
Okay.
last time I was there, they were selling them, and this was maybe 5 years ago, maybe less actually. See, that's 5. See, that's 9. Maybe 4 years ago. I know the domes at that time are 70,000, and then you get a 3 bedroom with that. It's huge. They're dope, by the way. Like, you get a view of the beautiful sea. And now, like, St. Thomas is being like built up because they're building the highway there. So I know real estate is probably going to go up there. So, and it's going to be very easy and accessible to travel in St. Thomas. So that might be something that you can think of, where you can still get the country setting but have close proximity to the city. And then, I mean, we know Montessori schools over here are so costly. So the fact that that just comes with like what you get, that's dope. It's like, which condo association is going to have a dope like private school? That's free.
Mhm.
And it's a
That is
Montessori
amazing.
school. So I think it's so hella dope. And then the kids get to learn about gardening and organic farming. They have people from the Peace Corps who come there to work and stuff. And so one side, that's where the Peace Corps people live. And so you get to still meet people from around the world. It's a really dope concept what they created there.
That is amazing. All right, let's go through because me and phone must be not happy with me. Oh, let's see. Maroon are the Ahanta warriors. Ah, good to know. Good to know. Wow. Crazy history.
I've been told that we were Ashanti.
Maybe she meant Ashanti and just spelt it.
Oh,
Maybe she left the.
Asante, I should
Yeah.
say.
No, maybe they left the A out. There I am again. I really enjoyed this live with Maroon Goddess. Great interview, wonderful. I am so
Thank
happy you
you,
decided.
Tanika.
Yes, it is a great interview, and she said, "I am so glad you decided to come back to YouTube lives again, Snob." Oh, you're welcome. I like being here with you all, and really get to share with the audience. So this ends up being a lot of fun. St. Thomas is going to be a great location because of the new highway to Kingston. Yeah, you mentioned that. And then Maroon Goddess. Music, did you mean Maroons and Ashanti? Sade. Or thank you for being here. She's also from Jamaica. So thank you for being here. Yes, I think she might have meant that as well. All right, so we're looking for my phone.
I mean,
One
it was a
second.
mixture of a lot of West Africans because at one point, a lot of people who became Maroons were also the runaways from the other plantations. They could choose to join with the Maroons in the mountains, but the original set of Maroons, they were Moors, Tainos, and Asante.
And a Sunday.
Because they were there from the 1300s. There's like documented history of them being there on that land for that long. So they probably had been there even longer than that.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Well, I want to know, because all your information is below, please share with us some please share with us how people can get connected with you, and your final thoughts as we wrap up. We hate to see you go, but you know.
Again, you can reach me at Sovereign and OffGrid on either Instagram or TikTok. And there is a link in my bio, a link tree, and it has the info there where you can contact me, whether it's to leave just your information or if you'd like to schedule a one-on-one coaching session so we can create a plan for you to execute if this is your vision as well to move off grid. I am saying that even if you don't live off grid permanently, I think every person, Black person, should have a space in nature where they can escape this escape Babylon. We need it. There's something that renews within our spirit when we're out there. There's a connection that we don't get to have in this artificial environment that happens there naturally. So if it's even you use it for your summer home, for your kids, find a space. If you don't even want to leave America, I can show you how to get it in America, land for free. Beauty of doing it in America, you can get a lot of things for free here and create your own space. It doesn't need to be perfect and you can take your time to build it, but having a location where you can escape sometimes, and especially with like the impending doom that seems to be overhead with everything, it would be nice to know that if you need to leave, you have a space that's already prepared and ready and waiting for you. And again, stop thinking it needs to look a certain way. Like at this point, it could be a van. Like if you start like thinking about van life, just start buying, having stuff now. It can be a yurt. A yurt is like $5,000. So if you get the property, you can put a yurt up like that, and that can be turned into a 3-bedroom. Like if you get a large yurt, it can be a tent, like a safari tent, like what they do at the very expensive safari eco villages in like Botswana and Kenya, right? Those are like $3,000 a night, but you can get one of those for like maybe $700 to $3,000 depending on the quality. So it doesn't need to be a huge house. They have homes now on my page. I just listed one called a Boxable. That one costs $50,000. They come and they set it up within 2 hours. And it already comes with the bedroom, the kitchen, the cabinets, the bathroom, even the refrigerator, the stove. And it's set up in 2 hours. You can do down payments with that one, $50,000. If you're paying 10 G's a year, which is what we usually pay in rent, you can pay it off in 5 years. So don't be constricted to just one way. My goal is so that everyone can have a taste of what this life could be like, because it is your birthright. Freedom is your birthright. Okay? And we all deserve that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Freedom is your birthright. Well, I am just so grateful to you. You have given us freedom and peace and liberty and so many amazing, beautiful things by sharing today and by spending time with us, being so generous with your time, with your expertise, with spirit, and allowing spirit to just flow through you. We are grateful for all the
I am
work that you're
grateful. Thank
doing.
you.
Thank you. We are so
Thank you
grateful.
for all the good energy, everyone. You guys just built me up. Give thanks. Give thanks.
Give thanks. Give thanks. Well, thank you so much. And we're going to talk soon. And so many people are going to be
Yes,
talking
yes.
to you soon. So, so
I
many good
look
things
forward
are
to
going
it. Let's do it. We're stepping, we're stepping out of Babylon. Wanna come forward. We're going to step out of Babylon.
There you go. There you go. Blessings, sis. Big
Peace.
hugs and have an amazing day.
Be well, be well.
Be well. All right, guys. Look, we have learned so much today. We've gotten so much good energy and so much information and wisdom from within. When spirit speaks, I'm telling you, when spirit thinks, begins to speak, is just so amazing. Just to be just to be in the room and just to soak up all the wisdom and the good energy. I'm just I'm on such a high, and I'm just so blessed right now. I really don't know what to do. I'm grateful to Maroon Goddess for spending time with us and giving us a different thought about how we can live, decolonizing our mind. If you decolonizing the way we think, even about moving, because sometimes when we move, we want to go to wherever we want to go in the world. Because I'm all about go where you are celebrated, not just where you're tolerated, right? So I'm all about that. It so the nomad capitalist says it another way: go where you are. What does he say? I can't remember now where go where you are treated best. That's what he says. But I say go where you're celebrated and not where you're just tolerated. And so that means for us leaving Babylon, right? Leaving the West. And so we've learned so many things just by listening to Maroon Goddess about the imposter syndrome, about decolonizing the mind. So many good, amazing things, and so much good energy, putting prayers into action. This is what we are being called to do, being self-sustainable, all of these amazing things that we can do. And so this is our time. This is our season. We have a call on our lives, and we have to use the intuition. How many of you all have been? I know Tanika and several of you all have been here when I've taught about intuition on this channel. We were leading up to something. We were leading up to the work that we needed to do. And now it's time to do that, to be self-sustainable, not only within our spirits and our minds, but also physically as well. Maybe I should say not to be self-sustainable, not just physical, but to be self-sustainable spiritually and from within as well. That's one of the things I really learned from our talk with the Maroon Goddess today. You have so many places to connect with her on TikTok and on Instagram. I want to get this one up. Yeah, so many places to connect with her. Sovereign and OffGrid on Instagram. She's also Secret Escapes Ja, which is for Jamaica, so JA. And then on TikTok, she is Sovereign and OffGrid. Please go check her out. If you click on her bio on Instagram or on her page on TikTok, click on that bio, which is at the top of the screen. When you go to her page, then you're going to be able to click on the Linktree link, and that'll take you to a place where you can go directly and schedule an appointment, a 60-minute session with her, so that you can talk about your plan to live off grid. No matter where you want to do it in the world, you can connect with her. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yes, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful energy. Amazing energy. Love. That's what I'm talking about. This is good energy. Look, guys, I love you guys so much. You are here with me on this journey, and I just am grateful. As many of you know now, we are really, really seriously looking at Jamaica as our forever, or just, as our spirit is leading us as the place that we're going to go. And so um, we're excited. And I want to do an interview. I want to do a video on why I chose, or why we're choosing Jamaica. There's so many ways, to support Black media and to support me. So we keep bringing good energy, keep bringing good content to you guys. One is by purchasing my book, Love the New Currency, which is linked below. I will link it. It's linked in the description below. I'll also link it in a comment that'll be pinned for you guys. You can support me by purchasing this book. Also, always support Black media. And so you can support me by emailing me at Black Exodus. Also, you can Cash App SYNOLVE to support Black media, because that really does help me out. Also, you can click the join button, or to become a member of this channel, or become a member by joining Patreon. If you email me at either blackexodus@gmail.com or at synolve@gmail.com, which I don't see it up here, then you can support. And I'm going to be rolling out some amazing memberships as well, and other support as well, because as you know, you probably already know, when you give, YouTube takes a significant amount, about 30%. So so I'm going to be rolling out some other opportunity as well. But there it is, just different ways to support me and make sure that this information continues to be heard and our voices continue to be heard. Because if we don't share the information about the Black Exodus journey, then who will, right? If we don't share this information, then who will? We have to share our own information. We have to be the ones who are telling our own story. And so that's what I'm doing here, right? This is what I'm doing here. I am telling our story, because in case you didn't know, there is a Black Exodus. There is a movement across the globe where our people are moving across the globe and around the world. We're leaving the West, shedding all of the skin and the heartache and the struggle of the West, and we're moving. But as our sister and has so lovingly shared with us, it's going to take a different mindset. Maroon Goddess has shared with us, it's going to take a different mindset. You're going to have to leave this colonized mind behind, and perhaps think about how you can live like the ancestors, how you can live more in harmony with the earth, more in harmony with the ancestors, and with all of nature and all that is. All right, guys, I love you guys so much. You guys know that. I am so blessed to have you. Sade says you can find Maroon speaking Cromartie. Yes, there it's very much one of the things about Jamaica is they have been able to keep a lot of their African heritage, and that is so amazing. Tanika says yes. Our people need to move off and grid and live off grid, our own space. We need to have our own space in nature to connect with nature. Be more connected with themselves and be more connected with the Most High and the Creator. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Tanika says, I'm excited to find that this Black African diaspora exodus is happening. It's happening. It is happening, and we're going all over the world. So thank you to everyone who is here with me today. Thank you for all of your input, your comments, your suggestions. Thank you to Kayla for recommending that I talk with Maroon Goddess and that I connect with her. Kayla, you are so amazing. And all of you all who've given me suggestions about who you want to hear from. Sade has given me several, and I've connected with several of those people. So we'll see how that works out, Sade. But to all of you who are telling me, expressing to me things that you'd like to see on this channel, Tamika was saying she loves the lives. I appreciate that so much. So as you tell me what it is that you want to see, I try to provide those things. Well, hubby says that I'm like a Baptist preacher. I have 4 or 5 closes, so I don't know. Hubby's probably counting. I don't know what close this is, but we are on our way out the door. I hope that you are taking good notes. I hope you're planning for your journey 2022. Hope you're planning. Please go out and check out the planning videos that I've done if you haven't already. The vision board party, please go check that out. Hubby and I did some vision boarding and planning, and that would be a great thing if you are considering making a journey overseas or off grid. That would be great for you to write your vision down and make it plain. Also, I have interviewed so far, if you're loving this content on Jamaica, I've interviewed Throp from Jamaica, who's in the grill, Misty Memphis, and I've also interviewed Mocha Mazel as well as Maroon Goddess. So please go check out those videos. They're in a playlist that is Jamaica One Love. So they're in a playlist. So thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys so much. And be sure. Be sure to hit the notification bell and like this channel if you haven't already. Let's see. Janika says, I'm excited. Yes, this Black Exodus is happening. Sade is saying, thank you, Sanal. This was a great live chat. Yeah, the live, we love this is a great live chat. Yep, I love them too. Janika says, enjoy your day, Sanal and hubby Milton. And if you haven't already, go ahead and check out Milton's channel and subscribe to him as well. There's going to be some great content that's coming as well as the content that's already there. All right, guys. I love you guys so much. You, baby, you are amazing. You are beautiful. You are wonderful. You are precious. You are gifted. You are supported by the ancestors. And baby, you are loved. And you are welcome here. Especially on this channel. You're always welcome here. I love you guys so much. And I'm going to see you in another video real soon. This is Sanal signing off. Have an amazing day. Because see you guys in another video real soon. Bye bye, guys. Love you.